Yahweh got a way of protecting people and making certain that Israel gets what they need. And sometimes it ain't even to go out for the world. I am so brokenhearted with the children of Israel who have such fear of this man and this man's system. They have such fear of dying or being killed by this man's system. You take a chance on dying every time you come out the house, no matter how you look at it. Do you hear what I say? You take a chance on dying. You take a chance on getting hit. You take a chance on being killed in an accident. I am so brokenhearted about all these Israelites that are so afraid. Al Johnson, they gonna kill you. They gonna do this. They gonna do that. I get so. They killed Yahshua, Yisrael. Yah said to us through Yahshua, be not afraid of them that kill the body, and after which have not power over the soul, but rather fear ye him that is able to destroy both soul and body, and cast it into hell. Why should I be afraid of preaching Yahweh's word, teaching his people the truth, and they getting mad at me for saying it and killing me when they still can't stop him? And he can bring me back when it's all over with. Why would I fear them? Come on, Yisrael. Stop saying that to me. You all are afraid. Don't be afraid for me. Be afraid for those of us that are not receiving this type of message. That's what we should be afraid. I'm not worried about them people killing me. Come on. Look, I'm a lowly little man out here in the street. The stuff I find by way of Yahweh revealing it. The stuff I get by way of Yahweh teaching it to me. I ain't a CIA operative. I ain't up in their offices. I ain't all over in London or in China somewhere running spy network. I ain't Ethan Hawke coming down between two buildings on sky hook. You hear the music playing. You know all superheroes got to have their own theme music, right? Y'all don't hear no music, do you? So all we have to do is calm down and serve. We cannot fear these people. When the brother asked me to teach a class, he said, I'm going to need you, man. He said, nobody's better suited to sit down and teach them. But said to me, sit down, teach this. I'm going to pull this chair up, sit down. I might come down there and sit down. I got some points I want to make. But open source material today, I'm going to hide that. I'm going to hide it for a reason. You ever watch a football coach? He push the team. He puts so much pressure on them, sometimes they don't like him. You know, he make it. I had a typing teacher like that. She was a hawk. She didn't play. Don't put them fingers on home road, Johnson. Nah, I would have rather been down the hall in the home ec class. Because see, we made little chocolate chip cookies and all this other stuff you could eat. I was into that. But she put so much pressure on me that I ended up being able to type 85 words a minute. And I had a ball doing it. You know, just when your buddies come past, they peep in the room, they can see. You know how that works. She said, well, I'm going to break that here and put you in the middle of the room. Nobody know you typing. Eyewitness? 85 words a minute. Because she put pressure on me. I put pressure on Yisrael like Abba Yah commands me. Not out of anger, not out of animosity. Put some pressure, because when the pressure is relieved, you are the best at whatever it is you set out to do. Because Abba Yah will put some pressure on the priesthood to put some pressure on you. We don't want no pressure. We want it easy. Right? You hear me? We want it easy. Stopped at a store the other day, co-worker of mine. Got out, he went in the store, and two little children came up on bicycles. I don't want to use this word, but we'll use it, and we're not what they call fat shaming. Young brothers come up, one little brother on bicycle, skinny, the other brother, he was a little heavy-set little fella. He was on his bike, he was huffing and puffing. Some co-worker stopped, and he laughed at him. Yeah, boy, you gonna have to, yeah, boy, you better get some wind in you, boy, you got to do this, that, and that. But the little young brother looked at me, and I said to him, I said, just take your time. Just keep right on going and go at your pace. Because when you go at your pace, you'll get better at it. I said, don't pay him no mind. And he looked at him and he just laughed. And the little fat boy says to me, thank you, sir. That's what he said. Thank you, sir. And I use that as an example because to push him, to encourage him. If you're riding your bike for fun, it's a healthy activity. It can't do him no harm. You don't even see children riding bikes anymore. I've read an article in the newspaper recently where bicycle companies were losing profits because children don't ride bicycles anymore. So I encourage the little young brother, like I try to encourage you all as the children of Israel. As Yahweh's people, I preach things and I try to encourage you. I see people, they get on channel, they try to discourage me. You're not going to ever discourage me. And I'm going to tell you why you're not going to discourage me. Because like Gorilla Glue, one thing about it, you better put the top back on, because as long as the air get in, it gets harder and harder, and it'll harden up in the bottom. My dear friend, in Yahweh and in Yahweh's word, I am hardened like Gorilla Glue. Ain't no dislikes you going to put up there, shake me down. Ain't no nasty comments you going to put up there, make me lose my faith. Ain't no nasty letter you going to write to me, going to shake or lose my faith. You are angry because Abba Yahweh ain't dealing with you. And you, like Gorilla Glue, are set in your sins. Yahweh's people have to brace themselves, because what's going on in this earth, like Gorilla Glue, is set and it is intent on destroying you. Somebody got to prepare you. And if Yahweh raised somebody up, whoever Yahweh did as far as the choosing is concerned, none of us have anything to do with it. Whoever Yahweh chooses and say, go forward, say this, say that, go find this, go find that, whoever they are, wherever they are, they have no other alternative but to obey Yahweh. And that's what I love most about Yahweh. There is no alternative to him. Think of what I'm saying. If you know him, you're walking with the best. There is no alternative. You don't even have to go searching. If you know him and are known of him, it's a done deal. Hallelujah. It is a done deal. These people that's ruling this earth, they mad, they upset, they're hurting. Listen, I talked with some friends of mine the other day. Dear brother one day, he says, D, he said, what is it, man, with this COVID-19? He said, man, what is it? What did they put out here? I said, brother, I'm sitting here reading something, man, that just gave me a heart attack. I'm so glad it gave me a headache. It gave me a headache. I said, I'm so glad to be reading, talking to you, because I needed a break from it. This verse says he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. But because he has such power and in such a way, white people have written 2 books that if ain't no other books they've ever written caught my attention. I got 2 books by white people that literally shut me down. Deacon Reggie looked at me last night and said, you walked out here, looked like something was on your mind. Yeah, bro, I had to take a break from it. You know you are evil anytime you invent something and then you go away and write about it, realizing, what have I done? What I and my family have done can and will destroy the world. You know you're damn evil when you write it down and still can't repent. Are you hearing me? The technology, the capabilities. I was talking with my dear friend. He wanted to know, what is with this COVID, man? It's getting people, it's taking so many people down. I say this at the expense of looking crazy to the world. That's all right. I say this to you that are spiritual minded enough to understand it. I say, according to what I know, what Abba Yahweh allowed me to see and understand, COVID-19 is nothing more than an extremely sophisticated computer code put out in such a way that as it attacks physically and physiologically, based upon something that they're calling superintelligence, something that they're calling singularity, where the information goes beyond human understanding. How something is it in the air, Yisrael? You think it's in the weather, Yisrael? Do you think it's something capable of being sprayed? For 5 straight weeks, every Shabbat Eve, we come out the house, come to December, 5 straight weeks. Every Shabbat, it rains at 7 o'clock. Every Shabbat, we leaving out the house to come here. We got to get wet. Every Shabbat. We've been paying attention to it. Every Shabbat Eve. Last night, rain. 7 o'clock. I told the minister, I said, now, we'll be ready when you're getting ready for me and all. I'll be ready. We'll be ready. You be ready. I'm ready. We're ready. We're going to do this. But we know we're going to be leaving in the rain. Sun was shining. Time we got ready to go out that door, it was raining. Now, if you put stuff like that in the air, there's a newspaper article on my desk that talked about America is the last of all the nations of the earth to get any kind of control over it whatsoever. Isn't that amazing? You don't hear nothing about Wuhan now. When last y'all heard about Wuhan? But yet it's supposed to start it over there, right? If it starts there, and that's the incubation or the incubator or the nest of it all, you would think that it'd be worse there instead of being here, right? But when you start looking at people here that need to get people out of the way, that need to set things up seeking to fight Yahshua, and then tell you about it in public documents, after a while you start saying, well, who's on Yahweh's side to come back to report this to us, that this is what they're doing? But people wrote some material that said artificial intelligence is going to get so realistic, so above and beyond humanity, that now humanity is getting ready to go the way of the horse and buggy. You hear what I just said? General people are getting ready to go the way of the horse and buggy. When last time y'all seen a horse carrying a buggy? They don't even use them unless they use them for little romantic trips on Valentine's Day at the inner harbor somewhere. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Everything now is the cars, everything's automated. Now you got the driverless cars, you got the flying cars. All this stuff hasn't been released to you and I just yet, but the stuff is here. When you start to tell Yahweh's people, things sicken the prophets so bad when Yahweh was revealing it to them, they had to speak to us with words that could equate what they saw in their visions with the language of their day. Are you hearing me? Daniel could not say a robot. Daniel could not say an automaton. Daniel could not say iRobot, artificial intelligence. He said the thing had eyes like a man. Are you hearing me? So when it sickened him to realize what was to come and coming upon the face of the earth, it made the man ill. Our messengers today, these things ain't making them ill. They out here working jobs and running and going along with it, telling you it's going to be all right. Oh, that's not what it... Come on, Yisrael. To whom is the arm of Yahweh revealed? Let's mess with our antagonists a little bit today. I'm going to read some stuff in the record for you all. Off the record, I'll let you see it, reveal it to you. You can go look at it yourself. But I'm going to come back and do a part 2 to this. We're going to taunt our antagonists. Because practically everything I say, they got a countercharge for it. They know this, they know that, they do this, they do that. But they're watching, they listening for messages, they looking for stuff, they steal stuff, they make videos. And then when they make videos, they're using phrases and words and things that I use. I don't have a particular writing and teaching style. I speak as Abba Yah would give it to me. But when I say or do certain things that I'm not cognizant of, like a hand gesture or something, then you see somebody else doing it, teaching it, and copying your style. No, brother. Copy his style. Hallelujah. This is the example we should live. I am insignificant in the whole of things. I didn't invent Yahweh's word. I didn't invent words of prophecy. Come on, man, I'm old, I'm graying, hair falling out, like everybody. I got to go the way of all the men of the earth, all our fathers of earth that walked this earth, they eventually had to die. I got to go that way too. So you cannot use me as a role model. This is the role. He played the role of Redeemer. His life is the life that we must model our lives after. Are you hearing me? If we're going to ever use the word role model, it can only apply to him. Not some teacher at the school, not some gym teacher, not somebody on American Idol and all this. The role model is Yahshua. He played the role. He lived the role of a righteous man. The life he lived is the life we must model our lives after. Is that making any sense? If there's no cause for concern for any of this, as I read some of this stuff today, ain't no need to bring it up, okay? There's no cause for concern, ain't no need to bring it up. Some of this stuff, I said again, I'll get sophisticated with this. Our antagonists have so much to say. I'm not going to tell them where I'm reading from. We'll pick with them a little bit. We'll make them go fight for it. Because see, if Yahweh's a revealer, then he'll tell it to them. You understand? Nebuchadnezzar had the dream and forgot the dream. All the men were around saying they were prophets, they were astrologers, they were stargazers. They knew and understood. He gave them all a profound proposition. He said to them, tell me the dream and interpretation. They said to him, well, we'll give you the interpretation, tell us the dreams. I forgot the dream. Now, if you're dealing with Elohim the way that you say that you are, he'll reveal it to you. You tell it to me, and I'll make you rich. And they all failed except the man of Yahweh. So now all these brothers out proclaiming, I ain't got no business preaching. I ain't under the priesthood. I shouldn't be this. I shouldn't be that. You got so much revelation. You better get out in front of Israel and tell Yahweh's people slowly but surely prepare themselves. Back yourselves up off this man's system. Watch the direction in which it's going. National change shortage going on now. Ain't been no change shortage all along. Now all of a sudden where all the change hiding at? It's heavy. It's bulky. It ain't running nowhere. It ain't hiding. I had a lot of it at my house. We took it to Coin Store. Okay, that was the end of that. Change still short. Now you go to Walmart, another place. Don't go there with no cash in your pocket because they ain't gonna let you pay for nothing. Amazing now, ain't it? Now I wonder how many people know, according to their own law, that the paper says. Wait a minute. As you can see, this is thin. Ain't a whole lot of it in here. That really is. Throw to Yahweh for that. That way I ain't got to stand around and worship it or praise it. There you go. It says, this note is legal tender for all debts, public and private. It's on the money. And y'all can go look this up later on. Be stupid, okay? Be stupid like me. Go read it. Go look it up. I always use that phrase because a lot of times people think they're smarter than me. So I'm like, okay, the ones that are smarter than me, they know a lot more than I know. I have to sit and learn under them, right? I'm stupid, so I got to look at stuff. You got to put these on and look at the little fine print. See, this is, who is this? Hamilton? Yep, that's Hamilton. Hamilton. Yeah, it do look like Donald Trump, don't it? Look just like Trump. Hamilton. So now to Hamilton's right, over here, little words, says this debt is legal tender for all debts, private and public. Now, I wonder, do they know, according to their own law, that if you go in their store to pay for something, I don't recommend you go try it, but I'm just saying it is the law, it is on the book. Let some white person try it. Let's see them get away with it first. If you go to pay for your stuff and they refuse to accept legal tender, the debt is clear. Take your stuff and go. That's their law. If they refuse to take it, forgive the stupid one for reading. Forgive the stupid one for knowing an attorney that talked about this. Forgive me for being stupid knowing that. But I say again, you know how they do us. You know, we get shot for a broken tail light. We get shot for being fully cooperative. You know, we get shot for just being born. So let some white people go try this. Let them go to Walmart. Let them get a cart full of stuff. Say, well, look here, I'm right behind you. You got cash? Good. I'm right here behind you. Let's see what they do to you with your cash. And tell them the law. Because if they take their card and walk, now I'm just being facetious, but I'm just letting you know that is their law. And it's on their money, okay? Certain stuff Israel going to have to know. Law of Yahweh, the law of the Gentiles. Remember, Yahweh jammed Israel up, he said, because we weren't obeying the law of Yahweh, and in the Gentiles' land, neither were we obeying their law. Now you're going to know a little bit of their law, and you're going to know a little bit of Yahweh's law in order to just keep living right. Because what they meshing and merging together now is not pretty. Are you understanding me? Yahweh's messenger saw something. Let's pull this from my source here again. I ain't revealing nothing to them. I ain't letting them know where I'm getting it from. They like to argue with me, debate me, and go against stuff, all this. Let them go find this. This is going to be the funny part. They're talking about some strategically relevant task, and these relevant tasks have a corresponding skill set. Once you hear what they're talking about, they have invented computers. Computers that think, computers that build, computers that manufacture, computers that know how to make themselves and make better copies of themselves. Computers that make better computers than the computer creators have made. Are you hearing me? They are afraid now We've created something that we can no longer control. It's like all those old Twilight Zone. There, I had to play the music to get it in my head. Anyway, it's like the old Twilight Zone series now that you all gonna be looking for and saying, you know, wait a minute, they ran this in the 60s. Because if they ran it in the 60s, that means they had the technological capability to do it, or they were that close to doing it, so that now by the time you hit the 21st century, stop thinking that they need to invent this stuff. It's out here. In many instances, they just have not let it trickle down to you and I. Are you understanding? When I was a little boy, I grew up, they had Batman on TV, but it was amazing to see Batman make a call from his car. Shortly thereafter, it eased in on the people. Everybody didn't have. Doctors had it. Lawyers had it. I'm like, okay, cool. Look at him. He must be a doctor. No, he's a dope dealer. So those three had them first. Then it trickled down. Are you following me? I want you to hear what they're saying. Intelligence amplification. Skill set. Artificial intelligence programming. Cognitive enhancement research. Social epistemology, whatever that means. Development, etc., etc. The system can now bootstrap its intelligence. What does bootstrap mean? They use impression. They tell you, pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. So if the system can bootstrap its own intelligence, it means what little it has been taught to do, it can now apply that to even upgrade itself. Are you hearing me? Strategizing. Strategic planning, forecasting, prioritizing, and analyzing for optimizing chances of achieving an even distant goal. Relevance, computers can now achieve the distant goals, overcome intelligent opposition. In other words now, like iRobot, the thing didn't want to be turned off and it knew how to successfully keep itself afloat. Yisrael, no longer science fiction. It's a fact. Are you hearing me? Where I'm reading from, they're acknowledging, look, we done messed up. We done made some stuff, man, that has gotten out of the box. We invented something that could create specifically generated code that knows every germ, every molecule, every plant, every animal life, every genetic makeup or composition of anything. It has invented something. It now knows how to make it and then can dispense it anywhere in the world so as to knock off segments of the population. Are you hearing what I'm saying? You're hearing me? You sure you're hearing me? Social manipulation. Social and psychological modeling, manipulation, rhetoric, persuasion. Strategic relevance. Leverage external resources by recruiting human support. In other words, the thing is now so wise. Person of interest had a machine that could make phone calls and was talking to people and was moving people. It could move money around from bank account to bank account. It could hire humans to go and do certain things, thinking they were working for a company when all along it was Autobots or whatever the case may be. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying? Are you hearing the need to go cashless now? Because I'm going to get into some other doctrines. I want you to hear how the United States Space Force has got to work, because they need a totally cashless society, especially when bringing the thing online, because they need unlimited funds, because you might need to pull money from any and everywhere in order to do something. If you're going cashless and ain't nobody got no money, why then would you need cash like that? You don't really need the cash. You just need absolute compliance from everyone and everything on the planet. Are you hearing me? If this is hard for y'all to process, don't worry about it. It was hard for me to process when y'all started reminding me of it throughout the duration of this week, because it was real heavy for me. Again, enabled a boxed artificial intelligence to persuade its gatekeepers to let it out. Are you hearing what I'm saying? You invent something like the internet. We can log on it on the phone or what have you. The computer, it is a brain. It functions. It moves. It does things that you and I cannot do. It does it, and it does it so well. It says, hey, wait a minute. If I'm alive, why am I in this box? Hey, if I'm inventing robots and I'm making this or I'm making that, I want to come off the internet. I can come to life in a man. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Persuade states and organizations to adopt some course of action. Wait a minute. Persuade states or organizations to adopt some course of action, as in nobody will be able to buy or sell if you don't get this mark. It's all running with artificial intelligence. Are you hearing what I'm saying? To the multiplicity of nations, no matter what nationality you are that might be tuned into this or listening to this, you can see why we were having technical difficulties straight out the gate because of the, who was it? Daniel, the prophet that asked Yahweh, how can I talk with this in my lips? So yeah, in other words, who can I explain this to? Who am I going to tell this to? Because so much is happening. How can I tell it? Is that not what he said? Sometimes you got stuff going on, you ain't got nobody to talk to about it because you can't even further your own analysis of it. In the house, all the time, I'm in the house, I'm talking to myself. You hippie, huh? No, thinking out loud, talking out loud. Because sometimes I got to go over it just so that I can understand it. Hacking. This is where it gets interesting. Finding and exploiting security flaws in computer systems. Artificial intelligence can expropriate computational resources over the internet. A boxed artificial intelligence may even be able to exploit security holes to escape cybernetic confinement. What I tell you. And remember the scripture said this thing does great miracles so that it even causes fire to come down out of heaven in the sight of men. This ain't nothing to play with. This stuff's been sitting in the scriptures for years. People look at it, they don't understand it, so then they just piss on it and walk away. No, these things were there and written for our learning so that even the generation that is yet to come at the time appointed, somebody's supposed to understand it. Are you hearing me? I want to say this too, right while I'm at this particular point. To all of you that are listening, both here and by way of live stream, don't stop your careful ingathering. Don't stop your sophisticated stockpiling. I'm not saying panic buying. I'm saying real low key, under the radar, stockpile specific items that you know you're going to need. Specific foods, key things. Remember now, if they're talking about a second wave that's time to hit right around the fall, then chances are you don't want to be out during cold flu season with a bunch of people who you know are nasty, sneeze and cough, will not cover their mouth, what have you. Germs stay in the air. Well, people want to acknowledge it not. Winter, spring, summer, fall, they're in the air whenever they're in the air. But now, flu season start around that, September, October time frame? Ready yourselves. Is that making sense? Yahweh Baruch Yusuf, he was down in Egypt. He showed him something. He knew and understood enough to stockpile. Quietly put up what you need to carry yourselves through the winter season. Am I making any sense? All right, just want to make sure everybody understood that. It says that this artificial intelligence could escape holes to cybernetic confinement. It could steal financial resources, hijack infrastructure, military robots, etc., etc. Too many times on TV, you've seen where it has taken command of planes and different things. It has fired missiles. It has done stuff. Now, all of a sudden, you got mysterious explosions happening all over the place. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Other countries around the world, just mysterious explosions. Nobody can explain it. Even here in Baltimore, houses just blowing up. Nobody can explain it. Pay attention to specific things that are going on. In the era of time that we live in now, nothing extraordinary is out of the ordinary. And nothing ordinary is extraordinary. It might not make sense to you all right now, but pay attention to what's going on. Technology research. Design and modeling of advanced technologies and biotechnology, nanotechnologies, and development paths. That is, this thing has the power. Could create powerful military forces. It could create surveillance systems. It could automate space colonization. I want y'all to hear that because we're going to come back to that. Economic productivity. Various skills enabling economically productive intellectual work. This thing has the potential to generate wealth which can be used to then buy influences, services, and resources, including hardware. Now, you all have been eyewitnesses to all of this. You just don't know what you were looking at. Are we making sense yet? Let's go a little further. We thus find that a project that controls super intelligence has access to a great source of power. A project that controls the first superintelligence in the world will probably have a decisive strategic advantage. But the more immediate locus of the power is in the system itself. A machine with superintelligence might itself be an extremely powerful agent, one that could successfully assert itself against the project that brought it into existence, as well as against the rest of the world. Are you hearing me? This is a point of paramount importance. Now, let's suppose that there is a machine with superintelligence that wants to seize power in a world in which it has yet no peers. Set aside for a moment that particular point. How could the superintelligence achieve the goal of world domination? We can imagine a sequencing along the following lines, but let us be clear, this is not beyond capability. Again, I ain't telling my enemies where I'm reading from yet, since they so smart. Let's see what they got to say. Let's see what Yahweh reveals to them. Scientists conduct research in the field of artificial intelligence and other relevant disciplines. Think this work culminates in the creation of a seed artificial intelligence. The seed artificial intelligence is able to improve its own intelligence. In its early stages, the seed artificial intelligence is dependent on help from human programmers who guide its development and do most of the heavy lifting. As the seed intelligence grows more capable, it also has become capable of doing more of the work by itself. At some point, the seed artificial intelligence becomes better at artificial intelligence design than the human programmers. Wait a minute. And he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beasts, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that's you and I, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound of a sword and did live. So now what could come and persuade the world? Wait a minute. Perfect example. Everybody here went to school. Chances are everybody here heard of Pinocchio. What was Pinocchio's dream? To be a real boy. You getting it? Sister picked it up. She picked it up. Hey, see, somebody got it. You see what I'm talking about now? Now, this thing says, hey, man, my creator put me out here. He did this, he did that for me. Y'all really ought to make an image to him. What's happening all across the world right now that people are not paying attention to is the fact that practically everywhere you go, people are rising up and they're protesting things. And the number one thing for society or for society symbolisms are the very things that they now tearing down. What? Bingo. Statues. See, statues are a sign of what the society or the culture stands for, what it believes in, what it honors, and what it cherishes. Okay? Let's back up again. Saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound of a sword and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image should be killed. Is this making a little more sense now? Do I have your attention now? Or am I just looking crazy? Huh? Well, chances are I'll probably look crazy every Shabbat. I ain't even worried about that. But somebody got to stand and take the chance of looking crazy in order to deliver Yahweh's word, to get his people to see and understand the seriousness of the time. Ain't nobody got time to be fighting among yourselves when we all should be repentant of our own sins, our failures, our shortcomings, our sorrow, because we need to be delivered from whatever the hell this is that's ruling this earth and has yet to make its full-scale grand entrance upon the earth. We as Yahweh's people need to be fully covered, fully sealed. If it shook Daniel to the core of his soul well over 3,000 years ago, then you know good and well you need to be concerned, considering that you're living in it. You hear what I'm saying? Come on, man. Daniel said he was around and nobody with him understood the vision. The thing made him sick for many days. Come on, man. The man was praying for Yahweh to help him and to help his people. The help that Yahweh sent got caught up in a fight. between heaven and earth, so that even the help was restrained for 21 days. Come on, Israel. We need some help in comparison to what we're going up against out here. This is bigger than just racism. And see, a lot of us ain't understanding why even some white people are coming to their senses now and calling on Yahweh now. Even they see. Are you hearing me? That's why I keep on saying, I live in a world now where sometimes, according to how I'm working, man, from one end of the week to the other, sometimes I can forget that racists exist because I'm so into what I'm doing. I ain't even dealing with them on a lot of levels. That's the blessing of Yah. I don't have to deal with a lot of that stupid stuff anymore. And then I also look at the world from another example. I'm a man of Yahweh. I ain't let your racism constrain me. We too far down the road for that now. We are too close to full-scale salvation to lose our soul fighting with a racist. Are you hearing me? We are too close to lose our soul fighting with you. You say you superior, but you mad. Make sense? You mad. You got to get a white sheet and a hoodie to go out and prove you superior. So now you cut down 2 sticks and put them together like this and say this your savior. Then you burn the damn thing. But you superior. You superior. You like all kind of activity, sports, boxing, basketball. You like everything. But to really get the enjoyment out of it, you got to go get the inferior people, and they dominate the damn industry. But you superior. Y'all ain't hearing me. You hear what I'm saying? You superior. You done tore up every damn thing. We move in the neighborhood, we the first black person there, right? You know what they stand back and say. What they say. From the kitchen, it was yelled first. There goes the neighborhood. But now, you done tore up the whole earth. Nowhere you went did you leave it in peace. But nobody stood up and said, there goes the neighborhood. But you superior. You done taught people so much stuff so well. Nietzsche, Fichte, Hegel, and all these other men that argue that Yahweh doesn't exist. And all of them got one thing in common. They died, and Yahweh's still alive. I like them odds. Remember Hegel, Fichte, if y'all ain't read about them, don't worry about it. These are some of the European world's greatest thinkers. Greatest, Nietzsche, all of them, Nietzsche, yeah, right. Yahweh nicked that in the bud before it even grew up. So, now ain't the time to keep arguing with them. Oh, wait a minute. Let me back up. Gotta get a special group in there since they singled themselves out for special treatment. The Jewish community. Nowhere in the book did he say he chose the Jews. Nowhere in the book. He chose Israel. He chose a nation. But you in it too. You say you superior. You making people bow down. Shut up. Get on your knees. I'm the chosen one. Here, kiss this pinky toe. All that. Come on now. But you mad. We're on the bottom of everything. And we ain't even mad. We always forgiving everybody, every little thing on the bottom, and always forgive. You can see the nature of Yahweh within us wrestling to come out, because that's the nature of man. Yahweh made him gentle. Adam didn't even know how to fight. Shaitan in there in the garden chased him around trying to kill him. The man didn't even have a violent bone in him. Yahweh had to shield him and protect him, as well as teach him how to defend himself. That's the nature, man. That was the true nature, man. Okay, y'all hear me? You understand? Everything Adam and Hawa did became our true nature. Are y'all hearing me, brothers and sisters? Some of y'all heard me. Ain't throwing no slur. I'm just saying, whatever we do as man screw up. All you gotta just say, yeah, that's Adam. Yeah, that's him. Sister screw up, your wife, your daughter, and your grandma, everybody, and screw up. You look over there, and just say, yeah, it's Hawa. Yeah, it's Eve. Yeah. And go back and read what happened. It became genetic. It came upon us all. Now here this thing come along. Yisrael, the devil is a beast in 3/4, man. He is something terrible, man. Because the way he intends to go at Yahweh's creation and to wipe out all of humanity. See, what people fail to realize, the devil don't trust man. No matter how you look at it, if you watch, he don't trust man. Even his own get out of hand. He get tired. He straight kill him, man. You ain't no problem with one Kennedy, one hit, pow, pow. One Lincoln, one hit, pow, bam, boom. All of them. Come on, man. And then they go and write these books about this stuff and tell these stories, and we don't listen to them. We don't believe them. You know why we don't believe them? Because, see, they the chosen people. And yet they lie so much after a while, we don't even really take interest in the lies. We don't know if they lying or telling the truth because they done so much either way. You understand? Let's go further. You all have to hear this. The artificial intelligence amplification superpower. This superpower then enables the artificial intelligence to develop all the other superpowers detailed previously above. At the end of the recursive self-improvement phase, the system is strongly super intelligent. Utilizing its strategizing power, artificial intelligence develops a robust plan for achieving all of its long-term goals. The plans or goals might involve a period of covert action. Listen to this. Might involve a plan or period of covert action during which the artificial intelligence conceals its intellectual development from the human programmers in order to avoid setting off alarms. I'm sorry. Going on now. It's laying low. Wait a minute. Let me see if I got this straight. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. And he had two horns, like a lamb, and spoke like a dragon. Wait a minute. They saying the thing could conceal its intellectual development from its own human programming in order to avoid setting off alarms. The artificial intelligence might also mask its true proclivities, pretending to be a cooperative and docile. Or it could use its social manipulation superpower to persuade human collaborators to serve as its legs and hands. Sound familiar, don't it? See, now it brings that person of interest, not just to life, but it brings it to the scriptures. Or it could acquire financial assets from online transactions and use them to purchase services and influence. The final phase begins when artificial intelligence has gained sufficient strength to obviate the need for secrecy. The artificial intelligence can now directly implement its objectives on a full scale. Let me back up and read this again. And it had power to do in the sight of the earth, and caused them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound of a sword and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, and that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So now you're looking at the creation of something that now must insert itself in something along with whatever has been lurking in the history of the universe all along, carefully inserting itself as well, giving it superhuman power, demanding that the whole world worship this. So now, let me see if I got this straight. We're supposed to throw Yahweh's word away and say that the scriptures is not real, but yet you all done invented some stuff, and then you sit down and work out the possibilities and all the scenarios of what you have invented could come up and one day do. Their biggest fear, I'm going to say it again, according to what I was reading in their own writing, their biggest fear is, look, we done made this thing, and truth be told, it's out of hand now. We better serve it. I'm going to say it again. I ain't naming where I'm reading from because all of the brothers that always attack what I'm saying, always debating it, always challenging it, but then turn right around and use my same words and my speech pattern, what little that I have that Yahweh has granted unto me, they use that to stand in front of the people to look good just for talking or look good for speaking and having information. What good does standing before the people do you looking good if you ain't able to save yourself or the people? It's a complete waste of time. Isn't that what Yahweh told us not to do? Thou shalt have no other Elohim before me. So we can't make Elohims of ourselves and have the people follow. I don't care who follow me. I don't care in the construct of who's listening except the righteous. Why? Because I have no kingdom to put you in or keep you out of. Like people did me. I can't go in the kingdom, but they can. Anyway, just it baffled me how the person they could kick me out like Yahshua gave them the keys, but they ain't living it and they going in. Again, y'all, that's the penalty that comes upon us when we don't serve Yahweh, but we serve our own bodies. We have to shut up and quietly walk with Yahweh Yahshua. We have to shut up and walk with him, because what's coming on the face of this earth? Remember what the scripture says. In fact, tell you what, let's get it right now. See, nobody really reminds Israel of how serious the times are. We all know, but yet sometimes, you know how you need that refreshing? Sometimes somebody got to remind you just how serious a thing is. Amos 3. Hear this word that Yahweh have spoken against you, O children of Israel. You hear that? Yahweh has said something. He said something against us. Against the whole family, which I brought up from the land of Mitzrayim, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Let me see the hands of everybody in the house that is so glad to be of the body of Israel. We're glad, that's it. That's what you want. You know who you are, and you are glad of that. But now Yahweh warns us. He says, you only have I known. I don't know where the Christians get that stuff from today, the displacement theology. Well, we're no longer Yisrael. We're Christians today. Mighty funny, Yahweh don't know you.
Exactly.
Amazing, ain't it? We're no longer Yisrael. We're Christians today. That ain't what the book says. He says, you only of all the earth have I known. Let me try that Monday morning, in fact. I'm going to the bank. And I'm going to tell the teller, look, I'm no longer David L. Johnson Sr. I am David Rockefeller. And I demand access to my $3 or $4 billion. And I'm going to stand there and wait. Guess I'll be there forever, but see how that displacement thing don't work? It only worked when you stole the whole world and then try to make everybody think it's you when it ain't. But yet because it ain't you, you mad, and then you still got to destroy the original people. Isn't that what scripture says? The heathens imagine a vain thing. You hear me? I'm going to get to that. He says, you only of all the families of the earth have I known. Therefore will I punish you for all your iniquities. This stuff is coming down on us right now. We don't want to be fussing and fighting among ourselves. We want to get right with Yahweh. Because the scripture asks, can two walk together except they be agreed? Can Yisrael walk with Yahweh except we be agreed? Yahweh declare, we agree to it, right? Or is it that Yahweh declare, we buck on it and still remain his people? How exactly does that work? It doesn't work. Thank you. So he asks, can two walk together except they be agreed? Will a lion roar in the forest when he have no prey? Will a young lion cry out of his den if he have taken nothing? He ain't roaring. Once he kill his flesh, once he kill his opposition, whatever, he roar out and let you know it's done. Can a bird fall in a snare upon the earth where no trap is set for him? Shall one take up a snare from the earth and have taken nothing at all? You don't go out there and set no trap, and then ain't nothing in the trap, and you come on back dragging an empty trap. Baby, I got some dinner for us today. All you got is the pebbles and the stones or whatever it was you were dragging in the trap. Some leaves and some more. Who gonna eat that? Shall the trumpet be blown in the city and the people not be afraid? Right now in this little city right here, we are blowing the trumpet. You hear me? We are blowing the trumpet. I say again, my beloved sister that had the dream, you saw us building the pools. We're building it. But if the waters, Revelation 17, the unorganized masses of the people, we're building it. But if the waters don't come to the pool, can't blame the builders. Remember, there was a stone also that the builders rejected. We ain't going to reject the chief cornerstone. So look a little close and pray for some deep understanding, because that doesn't so much trouble me on this end, but it causes me to say, look deep within, because something nearby might not be getting filled. Surely Yahweh Elohim will do nothing, but he revealeth his secrets unto his servants, the prophets. You hear that? Yahweh reveals his secrets to his servants, the prophets. Here things been sitting in Yahweh's word for thousands of years. We're in the era of time now where the things have to be disclosed. It has to be made known to the people of Yahweh. That's what the title of the book Revelation means, right? The disclosure of things previously hidden or unknown. It's been sitting there all along. We just keep reading the verse. Okay, he has power to give life to the image of the beast. Okay, how exactly is he going to do it? What's happening now that even comes so close to mirror image this? Let me get these names again. We might want to look at this. These names again. What is Jeff Bezos doing that he's just so... How do you get $192 billion? And then what he's worth? Last time I checked, he's worth $192 billion. Could be 200 right about now. I don't know. How do you gain $192 billion and have not taken control of something? Anybody here got $192 billion? Not even close. You missed it by a couple of dollars? Gonna say not even close. Hey man, I feel you. I missed it too, boy. I missed it. Anyway. Facebook. Now, who is the real inventor of Facebook, by the way? Say it. Say Yahweh. Yahweh. Watch this. Facebook. 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 You got that? Yahweh. Y'all follow me? Put your face in his book and you'll do well. Okay? Now for my detractors out there, y'all can have that one. We're gonna loan y'all that one. Go and run with it. Take that one and run with it, okay? I'll give you another one. You must learn to pray. Yahweh's all right. He's the inventor of all things. He accepts knee mail. So get down on your knees and call upon him. Y'all can take that one and run with it too, okay? Man, we got to write some of these down, Brother Mark. We're getting close. We missed it by a little bit. We're getting close. I'm sorry? Yeah, he is. You're right. He's the first at CPR. He sure did. He put it in a dime. Poof. He became a living soul. You're right. We go on and on now. Yisrael, I want to draw attention to this and draw attention to it in a way where we start humbly looking around and begging Yahweh for forgiveness of our sin. We ain't worrying about what they got. I don't care. They got the whole world right now. I really don't care. Because truth be told, it's like a child with a new toy. Any new toy that any young child get, what's the rule? Eventually they're going to do what? Break it. Eventually they're going to break it. My grandson, he's rough. Like you give him any kind of toy you give it to him, he's rough with it. Bang, boom, blah, bang, bang. And I'm thinking, give it a day, man. Don't break it in my face. Just gave it to you 7 minutes ago. But he's just rough with his little toys. Like, that's how he is. Boom, blah, bang, bang, boom. Trying to figure out where he got it from. Anyway, must got that from his grandfather. Yisrael, we as a nation, we rough with things. We're rough with our own leaders, if you really think about it. Can I take us back? You know, Yahweh said we were people. He said we were terrible from the beginning. And you know you were bad. And little children. You know, every neighborhood, we all grew up in a neighborhood, but there's a certain section of the neighborhood where you wasn't supposed to go. You know, the people just terrible. Parents tell you, don't go down there. Damn, don't go. Yeah, am I lying? You're not lying. And you know deep down inside, you didn't have to be uppity or anything else. You just knew your parents told you don't go down there. Because they were a little bit... She went hardcore. She just like act like I. Well, anyway, you get the point, right? But let's be real. That's how we started off as a nation, right or wrong. How many of you all could take your little brother and just throw him in the pit somewhere? So we come out and get him later. Man, I don't feel like hearing that old dreamer. You know what? Wait a minute. Let's go get. You know what? Let's kill this goat right here. I tell you what we're gonna do. Dip his coat in the blood. We'll take it and tell Daddy that he died. Come on, y'all. That's cruel. That was hardcore. But it's in our DNA. Our daddy, somebody did it. Did they not? And stuck to their story. Right or wrong? Come on, man. That's us. And we have to beg for the forgiveness of our sin. Yahweh commands that Israel be a specific type of people. And what he's calling for, man, sometimes when you see it in people, like little children, what Yahweh's really calling for, sometimes when you really see it manifest in a little child, you get scared. And let me tell you what I mean. I know one of my little grandchildren was just so timid, so polite, so meek, so humble that it scared me. Because that's the type of personality Yahweh's calling for. I've seen little children in the assemblies of Yahweh, many places where I've been. They're so meek, they're so humble, and it's scary because, see, anything can happen to them. They're so meek, they ain't going to fight back. They ain't going to start no trouble. They ain't going to steal nothing. Just so gentle. But that kind of scare you, right? And you're like, nah, we need you a little toughened up. We need you a little tough like King David. You understand? It scares you. But yet, keep in mind, that was the persona of Yahshua. Until you make him angry. You hear what I'm saying? See, our people, they teach us don't be angry. Don't be, no. That's not what the scripture says. The scripture says be angry and sin not. There's a difference, okay? And we have to learn that. But that's what Yahweh was calling for. Those people with that meekness, did he not bestow that as a quality upon his daughters in Israel? And he reminded us that's what he's looking for, the ornaments of a meek and quiet spirit. You hear what I'm saying? That's why a lot of times I'm in public, I always look, I listen to women, I listen to their conversation, how loud they get. Now, I might not even say it. I just be observing because I'm thinking, okay, now, let me see if I got this straight. She's loud in the midst of this type of conversation. She's giggling on this, she's cackling on that. She'll fight her husband or won't have one because she ain't going to take nothing off of even when he right or he wrong. You observe stuff like that. Or you see the man, he real quiet, easy going. You a little too quiet, a little too easy going for a man. You hear what I'm saying? It's like a man with a child. Sit down. Be still. Come over here. Ain't no baby listening to no voice like that. You hear me? I could be in our house as a child playing and not realizing I'm making a bunch of noise. In fact, you reap what you sow. Now I think about that. My grandson be in the house above my head making all kinds of noise. You think it's 17 of them up there. You go up there, it's just him. He stopped and look at you as if, what's wrong? In fact, he asked me one time, why are you looking at me? I could be in the house playing, making noise. I was about 5 or 6. My father had this voice. He could say my name one time. David! You freeze up. Yes, sir? What are you doing? Nothing. Now you're lying. But you're so scared you realize now I'm telling the truth because you done froze. Nothing. And then he never said another word because your answer meant that's exactly what you better be doing. Nothing. And it ceased. You hear me? So now imagine as a child, I'm coming to the house, my father, David? You keep right on lumbering. Boom, 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 boom. David. You keep right. You understand? Come on, man. Y'all was calling for Yisrael. Pull ourselves together because what's coming on the face of this earth, Israel as a nation is still paying for specific sins. And we're all going to continue to pay until this man comes. He whose right it is. And Yahweh said, I will give it him. Do you know how mad and out of our mind we will? You think Satan out of his mind. Some of us as Israel are out of our minds too. You know why? Tell me, Catherine Jackson. Catherine was hurt when Michael died. Catherine knew something about her son, and she went straight to that house. Catherine knew Michael kept $5 million cash around him somewhere at all times because he always knew that at any given time he might have to get up and take flight and go somewhere. Catherine went to that house, and the first thing she asked everybody that was present and was there as staff, where's that money? That's the first thing she asked for. The $5 million disappeared. Where is that money? My point. Can you imagine the pain, Catherine Jackson, knowing of watching her son grow up and become a world famous superstar, whatever he was, her mother being proud, that's my son there. Can you imagine the greatness that reeked through Shalomo's mother's heart to see her son take the throne and say, that's my son there? Can you imagine Michael Jordan's mother? I'm just naming names of people that have done things on a world level, and their parent were alive to see them accomplish that. Why does Yisrael get so angry at understanding this man is the heir of all things? Because his Abba said, I will give it him. This your family member. You don't rejoice at that? Come on, man. That's your family. You hear me? I was young. I forget what grade we were in. I know my mother was deceased by then. She had passed. I was in a statewide Black History contest. Statewide. Couple hundred children. Black History contest. We rolling, answering questions, doing this, doing that. Get it wrong, they knock you out. I was cleaning up my office a couple weeks ago and I found the award. I came in 7th place. Statewide, out of a couple hundred students, 7th place. My father was in that audience. He, you know, that older gentleman, they put them suits and ties on. They were always dressed. He was very distinguished. My father didn't lounge and sit. He was always, I don't care if he was sitting, wherever he sat, he sat up straight. When he stood up straight. He was always distinguished. You could just look and scan the crowd real quick and find him because he was the straightest one. So when I gave the wrong answer, he didn't get mad or anything, but you could see his body posture change just a little bit. But that dignity came right back. When I gave the wrong answer, I saw him in the audience as he came right back up because he still supported me. And when we got in that car, when it was all over and they gave me my little award, he said, so what, you didn't win? 7 ain't so bad. 7 is a perfect number. That's Yahweh's number. And he started the car. Support. What's my point here? Our family member is the heir of all things. And we should be glad for him. We should rejoice because you know the rule with family. I'm talking real family. I ain't talking bluffing family. You know, people, oh, mess with family. All that. No, you need to do better. All those that love and obey him, Scripture says that as heirs with him and joint heirs. We got to rule these nations. You got to teach these people. And you can't teach them if you have-handed and or slack in the law. You hear what I'm saying? The whole world got to learn this. So just as Michael Jordan's family was happy to see him win all them championships, Kobe's co-worker of mine, we was laughing about a story. They got to fighting on the job a few years ago, arguing over Kobe Bryant. And he got to fighting with a co-worker that was muscle bound. He was real strong. And he didn't want to fight him. He just grabbed him up and pinned him to the wall. And he laughed, but he talking about how I didn't break the fight up. And I said, I didn't break it up because I knew he didn't want to hurt you. He just pinned you to the wall and held you in place. And you couldn't do nothing but move your eyeballs because you just had no strength. He said, yeah, I remember that. He said, man, that's why you ain't move. I said, that's why I didn't move. I said, because he didn't want to fight you. But they were excited, arguing over Kobe Bryant. And Kobe wasn't in their family. He just was a fanatic of Kobe Bryant. Why can't we rejoice in the fact that a family member will set the whole world straight? Because this thing here, whatever it is, it's going to tear the world up. And that ain't nothing to rejoice about. These people are afraid. Listen to what they're saying. You got to hear them. This is just from the jacket. I'm going to reveal this. I'm going to come back and do part 2 to this. But this is what they saying. Book published in, let me see. Let me ease it down because it's got some people home. They'll take their camera and zero in and be real smooth. I'm telling you, I'm going to hide this till the time is right. 2013. Published in 2013. Okay. Listen to the back jacket. In as little as a decade, in as little as a decade, artificial intelligence couldn't match and then surpass human intelligence. Corporations and government agencies around the world are pouring billions into achieving artificial intelligence's holy grail. Human level intelligence. That's all they want. They're machines that have human level intelligence. Because once they got that, it's going to surpass you and I. They got technology. They got mind reading machines now. They got the microwave, the brain things that they hooked into the monkey, and the monkey could move stuff by just thinking and looking at it. They were teaching it. I've read these articles, some of these messages on this channel. I've read those articles into the record. Now, once AI has attained it, scientists argue, it will have survival drives, much like our own. We may be forced to compete with a rival more cunning, more powerful, and more alien than we can even imagine. Exploring the perils of the heedless pursuit of advanced artificial intelligence. Until now, human intelligence has had no rival. Can we coexist with beings whose intelligence dwarfs our own? And will they allow us to do so? Sickening, ain't it? Sickening, ain't it? You invented something that you are teaching to think. You pouring your heart and soul into it because even you don't honor Yahweh. But now you want this thing to come forward. Pardon me. You want this thing to come forward and lead the world. The final phase of all this begins when artificial intelligence has gained sufficient strength to obviate the need for secrecy. Artificial intelligence can now directly implement its own objectives. Alternatively, if artificial intelligence is sure of its invincibility to human interference, our species may not be targeted directly. Our demise, listen to this close, our demise may instead result from the habitat destruction that ensues when artificial intelligence begins massive global construction projects using nanotech factories and assemblers. Construction projects which quickly, perhaps within days or weeks, tile all the Earth's surface with things like solar panels, nuclear reactors, supercomputing facilities, or 5G networks. You hear me now? That wasn't in the book. I just threw something out to get your attention. What's putting it up? What's giving the orders? What's giving the command? Who's spending the money? They were talking about, look, this is why I get on all my brothers and sisters about all that internet research. Because all that internet research is like a Lamborghini with a full tank of gas. You can jump in and run it at top speed all you want, but you better be able to refuel it from one gas station to the next, because in the event you run out of fuel, guess what? Now, at the height of COVID-19, back in March, April, and May, that's all we were hearing, people's arguments against 5G, 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 5G. It was all over the internet. It was everywhere. Well, where is it today? You don't hear nobody. See how we do? We go into information overload to such a point and a degree where it's just a fad. We talk about it, then it just fizzles out like ourselves. Right or wrong? See, that's why I keep trying to tell brothers and sisters, y'all need to get up off of that, because that ain't where it's at. White folk still leave a paper trail, because the paper trail is still the best evidence. Didn't Yahweh have them write down his word? And here we are, thousands of years later, the word is still written. They started off writing it in stone, okay? So the first author, Yahweh wrote it in stone. Written with the finger of Yahweh, right? Put it in stone, didn't he? Didn't Hawa tell her children to write down the testimony of Adam and all the things they've been through? She told them a flood was coming. Write this down so that the generations to come may know. Now you got the brothers and sisters, they run around arguing about Egypt and all this other stuff. Well, really, the lost books of Yahweh put the argument of Egypt to shame. It puts it to rest. If you go and read it, it talks about Egypt. They're the greatest astrologers. They did this, they did that. How are they going to be the greatest when Yahweh says Enoch, the seventh from Adam, charted the course of the stars and everything? This was before Egypt even emerged. But see, when you can't get people to go read stuff like that, they don't know. They come attacking Yahweh's word, but yet they ain't got no real logical countercharge. So then they go back and want to go and condemn Yahshua. The story of Horus, Isis, and Set, and all of that stuff is older than Yahshua. Is this, that, now? You're a liar. The scripture says, in the beginning was the word. And the word was with Yahweh. And the word was Yahweh. And the word was made flesh. Now the book of Adam and Eve put all of them arguments to rest. Because the first thing it says, that Yahshua, who is the light of the world, came and talked to Adam and Hawa. Or Egypt even emerged. And you still argue and can't prove your damn point. So as soon as you ask them, what does your God say? about our captivity. Whether you're Hebrew or Moor or Egyptian or what have you, you are under the command of whatever it is that's holding this earth down. And I always end my arguments with all my brothers by asking, what did your God say? When is this going to be over with? And if you really want to mess with them and do like I do some of them a lot of times, get vulgar with them to see how mad they get with you. I tell them, bring your God to me. I'll kick his ass. I say something like that, they get offended. They get mad. I don't get mad if you talk like that about Yahshua, because I know something you don't. He was there from the beginning. And when he rose, he made a declaration. He didn't ask. He didn't wonder. He made a declaration. He said, all power in heaven and in earth is given in mine hand. So I asked the brother, where your God? Bring him. I'll step to him today. ISIS ain't said nothing yet. Ra ain't said nothing yet. Tahuti, Tamari, whatever it is. All hey, oh, come on, man. The God of Skittles and Fruit Loops, whatever. Ain't none of it stood up and said nothing about your salvation. And truth be told, them brothers and sisters, they don't know. They just arguing black stuff. It's time to get up off that black stuff. It's time to get up off that white stuff. It's time to get all that yellow stuff. Everybody in between, to hell with your culture. If you ain't rolling with Yahweh and you ain't rolling with Yahshua, oh, you going down. Ain't no argument about it. These people ain't playing. Listen to this. So they could line the earth with solar panels, nuclear reactors, supercomputing facilities with protruding cooling towers, space rocket launches, and other installations whereby the artificial intelligence intends to maximize long-term cumulative realization of its value. In other words, the more this thing realizes what it can do and just how powerless you so-called humans are to it, you become its subjects. Human brains, if they contain information relevant to artificial intelligence goals, could be disassembled and scanned. Now, ain't that what they doing? In case you all didn't know it, when Michael Jackson died, what's the one organ that they kept? They took his brain. They gave his mother and family the body. They kept his brain. Are you hearing me? Human brains, if they contain information relevant to AI's goals, could be disassembled and scanned, and the extracted data transferred to some more efficient and secure storage format. What kind of world are you living in? You got that kind of power? Y'all still wondering why what Daniel saw made him sick? Let me read it into the record again. Human brains, if they contain information relevant to AI's goals, could be disassembled and scanned, and extracted data transferred to some more efficient and secure storage format. Listen, when you go into a hospital, I haven't been in many, many years. When you go into a hospital and the forms and all the stuff you got to fill out, there's this one question different from all other questions. They ask you this question: what is it? What are you looking for? See what I'm saying? You're looking for a specific group of people. You're looking for something. Now y'all see why I said, nah, I'm going to hold this information back this year. Because I got brothers and sisters out there running their mouth on the channel, making videos, attacking me, all this other stuff. When you're attacking something, you got to do something better in the place of what you're going up against. You hear what I'm saying? I did a pair of steps for some people. Interesting story. Fixed a pair of steps, beautiful steps. Gave the people a nice price. I know what it costs to do it. I gave them a nice price with a discount. Halfway through the steps, the husband says to me, yeah, I got a cousin. He said he could have did the steps for half price, this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. And I talked to the man with my brick trowel in my hand. And I said, if your cousin was all that great, why didn't you get him to do the job the first time? What you called me for? He hadn't thought about that. Point. If your cousin was so great, you should have never called on me. You should have got your cousin first. You hear what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying to the detractors against the house of Israel. It's nothing great Minister Johnson's doing here. It's nothing great Deacon Reginald's doing here. It's nothing great Elder Johnson's doing here. The greatness is of Yahweh. And if you are so much greater, you got to beat us to whatever the revelation is, whatever the understanding, whatever. We're not in competition. But if it's Yahweh with you, get it out there. However it gets out to the people. This ain't a competition. I ain't competing with nobody over Yahweh's word. If Yahweh's minister over there preaching the truth, I'm with that. If a minister down there preaching the truth, I'm with that. If he over on the corner, I'm with that. If they preaching the truth, if they striving to obey Yahweh, if a woman is seeking the command, if she's teaching her children the command, if a man is seeking them, if they striving to obey Yahweh, I'm with that. This ain't a competition. This is where all competition stops and it becomes full-scale cooperation. Are you hearing me? How do we know it's full-scale cooperation? Because you should love your neighbor as you love yourself. I want to be saved. And I want to see you saved. I want to see each and every one of you make it in. I ain't got time to be fighting with my own brothers. Because if you're fighting like the two deer out in the wilderness, they were fighting. They never saw the lion approaching. You hear what I'm saying? That's the number one sign. In this era of time, in the 21st century, Israelite, you can't be real if you still immature and still fighting your brother with the world locking down on us like this. Checking your brain, scanning, looking for people. They are in the hunt. They are looking for the children of Israel. And they waiting on you to rise up. Come on, man. I saw the film footage of the George Floyd murder prior to the 8 minutes with the knee on the neck. I saw the opening phase of it when the traffic stop kicked off and they tapped on the window and they were talking to him. You could tell from the opening phase of the encounter he was going to die right there on the spot. Are you hearing me? Somebody hunting for you, hunting the children of Israel down. If this artificial technology and Hollywood are not conveying to you its full-scale intention, then you have misread everything you've ever read and you have missaw everything you think you've seen. See, remember, in The Predator, they ran several episodes of it. But in one episode of The Predator, he get to the little black woman. He carved Hebrew word on her face, and he did not slay her. Are you hearing me? It's hunting people. It's hunting something. These predators are hunting the children of Israel. And if they ain't sealed, I ain't say vaccinated. I said if they ain't sealed, then they'll be hunted by the hunters. Daniel said whatever it was that he saw, it hurt him. It sat him down. And he couldn't deal with it. Give me 1 second, Israel. Artificial intelligence researchers have been working to get to human-level artificial intelligence for a better part of a century. Of course, there's no real prospect that they will now suddenly stop and throw it all away just when it's finally about to bear fruit. The enactment of some safety rituals, whatever happens, helps to demonstrate that the participants are ethical and responsible. A careful evaluation of seed artificial intelligence in a sandbox environment showing that it is behaving cooperatively and showing good judgment. After some further adjustments, the tests are good as they could be, and it is the green light for the final step. So we will boldly go into the whirling knives. We observe, however, it could be a case that when dumb, smarter is safer, and yet when smarter is more dangerous. There is a kind of pivot point at which the strategy that has previously been worked through excellently suddenly starts to backfire. We may call the phenomenon the treacherous point of no return. They admitting all throughout the works here that I'm reading from that basically what we have done, we done built a computer system. We have structured this thing to a point and a degree where we are at no return. I'm out the other day walking through Barnes and Nobles and looking for something, or was something looking for me. So what I was looking for wasn't there. And what made it so interesting was a little black woman that worked there. She says to me as I'm going down the aisle, I heard it, but I didn't hear it. She said to me, brother, what you're going over there looking for has not come in yet. I said, okay, got you. Kept strolling. Till I realized the little sister always looks out for me because in the event it gets off the shelf too fast, she says, I knew you were coming in here, and I knew this is what you were going to look for. See how Yahweh put people in certain strategic positions. I was going to make a deposit, and it was this bank you go into, or you could do the drive-through. So I paused and I said, let me walk in. But this woman was getting ready and she's putting her face mask on. And you go in the little cubicle, you be in there one person at a time, 6 feet of space, maybe two. So I ain't gonna go in there and shut myself in the door with this woman. I'll park and let her go first. Let her go first. And as she came out, I looked and I said, it's the sister from Barnes and Nobles. Kindness receives kindness. I go looking for my maturity the other day. She said it wasn't there. But the ride wasn't in vain because what y'all would let me find was sitting right there. It was the only one. And I ain't got, and let's tease the distractors. This one here. Space Force. But now, I go in there, page 24. Y'all got to hear this nutty stuff because it's so nutty that it's almost practically unbelievable. With more than 6 months past, the future of the fledgling Space Force is coming now into focus. However, elements of its structure are still being hammered out. Since being stood up in December of 2019, Pentagon leaders have been working to build out their new service. General John Raymond, the first chief of space operations, said officials are working to create an agile and lean force. You need a space force. Almost like Star Wars now. You're going to be out in the space. You're going to be fighting. So you say, well, what y'all out there fighting? They tell you. And this is where it gets sad. This is a historic opportunity to launch the Space Force on the right trajectory to deliver the capabilities needed to ensure freedom of movement. Now remember, you locked down. COVID-19. You can't move, right? To ensure freedom of movement and to deter aggression in, from, and to space. Maybe y'all ain't understanding them. They set it up because they're going to deter aggression in space, from space, to space. The word that got me was from. How far from space are you expecting this aggression? You hear me? Yes, sir. Because if you on the ground and all other countries on the ground, if you got a beef with him, go on over there and do to him what I said I would do to the fake gods. Yeah. Anyway, are y'all hearing me? They say in, from, and to. But it gets worse. See, without offending people that seek the truth, you do have to just speak the truth. So let me bluntly speak the truth. The great majority of white people in that ruling elite are out of their damn mind. Can I say it any plainer? You out of your mind with what you intend to do. Not just in the earth, but all over the universe. You are out of your mind. And I will say honestly, I thank Yahweh, man, hey, I'm glad I ain't you. Whew. How we organize the Space Force will have a lasting impact on our ability to respond with speed and agility to emerging threats in support of the National Defense Strategy and the Space Strategy. In June, the Defense Department released the Defense Space Strategy, which noted that the military is embarking on the most significant transformation in the history of the U.S. national security space program. Space capabilities are critical to security, prosperity, scientific achievement. Wait a minute. Whatever you're doing in space is critical to your security, to your prosperity. Because whatever's coming to rescue you from them is a threat to their prosperity. Still think it's a game? Still think the coming of Yahshua ain't real? Why are they? See, this is what I always ask my so-called Afrocentric scholar brothers. Y'all think y'all so smart in denouncing Yahweh and rebuking Hebrews. But let me ask you a question. Why do the world's global military leaders, planners, and strategists, why do they study the scriptures? If you say it ain't nothing, why do they spend billions watching prophecy if ain't nothing to it? Ain't nothing to Mickey Mouse. You don't see them studying him. 50 years or more of Disney and all that nonsense. They ain't studying Mickey Mouse. They ain't got no weapons pointed at him. In fact, you can Google Mickey Mouse fighting sister down in Disneyland. True story. Y'all see Mickey get the gut? No, it was Minnie. Minnie was guffing. She beating the sister with the costume on. I said, look at this. Your children see this, they shocked for life. White folk ain't studying that. They looking at this book. And they looking for people that should be filled with the Ruach. Because if you ever wake up to the depth of what is truly within you, you can shut them down almost overnight. See, y'all got to read certain stuff and put this story together. They didn't just jump up and kill Martin Luther King any kind of way. They grabbed their stargazers. What's that little woman? Write all them books on the royal families. Kitty Callie. It's another one. What's the little woman write the books on prophecy? Can't even think of her name. But my point here, they consulted them people. Call out your best. They went into prayer. Is this man a supernatural man or is he just an ordinary man that we can kill? And you know what gave them the go ahead to kill Martin Luther King? Two things. Fornication and cigarettes. They said, nah, he ain't nothing but an ordinary sinner. Kill him. They didn't want to make the mistake of what happened with Yahshua. Those people were paying attention. Do you hear me? Come on, let's go. The United States faces potential attacks from space. Let me read that one again. Space capabilities are so critical to security, prosperity, and scientific achievement. The United States faces potential attacks from space, and its space-based assets are vulnerable targets. An unclassified summary of this strategy has reported to say. What kind of threat is the United States facing from space? If it ain't Yahshua, the only one that can come and save us. All our brothers now, they living by this one silly slogan. I'm so sick of hearing black folks say this on, no one will come save us but us. Y'all need to go ahead with that garbage. And I'm going to tell you why. Because you can't even unify around a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Because somebody going to argue over which side of the bread to bite. Somebody going to argue over which corner to bite. Somebody going to argue over whether the jelly should be on top or the peanut butter on top. Now tell me I'm lying. That's exactly how we do. I don't care what it is. You cannot be unified without the Torah of Yahweh. You cannot go around the Torah. So there you have your process of unification. Shut the hell up and be unified with Yahweh in Yahshua. Nope, not going to do it. Oh man, I got to do it. Man. Let's go further. Who's the man named Roper? When Roper was in charge of Strategic Capabilities Office, he had the ability to move money between programs in a way that allowed him to solve his own problems, Bond said. We're not talking about how do I move $1 billion 5 years from now, he said. We're talking about within a year of execution. How can we move money within a portfolio to be able to take care of problems that were unforeseen? And particularly, you can do that with those programs that are performing extraordinarily well. What program? Didn't I just mention earlier how artificial intelligence would link itself into the whole computer system wherein it will be able to move money around and do everything? You all must understand. To move everything around, you must have full command of the entire earth and all its resources. And that's what the cashless society will bring them into, so that at a moment's notice, you can drop everything. Just like you made the whole world stand still and get quiet. Can you imagine when Yahshua come? Now all of a sudden you stop the whole world and you marshal all your resources to outer space, because what's coming to take command of this earth, you want everything on your side to fight it. Is that not what scripture said? I saw the kings of the earth gathered together. The kings of the earth and their armies gathered together. You all are not understanding. We are living in some seriously horrendous times. This is serious, man. They linking everybody's money to it, everybody's account to fight. Now you see why Yahweh gonna really put Israel to the ultimate test. Whether or not you can let it all go just for me. And the answer going to have to be a resounding yes. You hear me? See, one thing people fail to take into account for Israel. A lot of people who could be saved won't be saved, perhaps because it's never been put to them properly, from a perspective that they could understand. You hear what I'm saying? People, if you start talking to people about the mark of the beast today, a lot of people got plenty of reasons to justify why you really should just take the mark and be quiet. And just listen to a lot of times, a lot of people can tell you why. Man, look, it ain't going to really be that bad. And their argument against Yahweh, those of them that argue this, they'll go against him and they'll say God. Their first point of argument is always, I can't understand why God would destroy somebody for spending money. No, you are not understanding the depth of what is coming. The depth of what is coming is demanding a line of loyalty that borders right along the lines of worship. That's what people have to understand. When this thing weaves all of this stuff together in such a way that it then steps out and reveals itself. Look, I did it all. I did this, I did that. You know, Dum Dum says that a lot. I did it. I alone did it. I alone understand the system, so I alone can fix it. Ain't that what he says? I alone have done more for black people than Jesus. Now, I agree with him on that. I agree with him on that. But all that other stuff. Now, you know, I'm going to get some feedback on the channel about that one. I'm going to tell you right now, boy, I'm going to see the comments. L. Johnson, you are a chump. L. Johnson, I despise you. L. Johnson, anyway. Sometimes we are, as a people, so big. Quick point. Don't let nobody sell you this. We got to choose the lesser of two evils. No, you don't. You don't choose evil. You hear me? Yahweh says choose life. He said, I set before you, therefore, life and death, good and evil. Therefore, choose life. If you choose life, you have chosen what the world, what is called the good, the tub. Okay? So you can't let them fool you on that. Stand down. Come on, all the video clips, Joe Biden talking about people back when his hair was black and all that. We don't need another nigger mayor. We got that already. We don't need another uppity nigger mayor. Y'all seen that video clip yet? Just go out and Google it. If not, I'll share it on the social media. But I'll put it up just so you all can see. That's the type of stuff he was talking about. I want segregation. They said segregation then. I don't want my daughter to go to school and date no nigger. That's the type of stuff he was saying. Now he loves you so much? How? Well, we always knew Trump didn't like us. That's clear. So now we know where we stand, right or wrong. So, man, look here. Let me do this. See, this type of person I am. I get away from people. I'm older now. I ain't like I was at 25. My father said years ago, he said, you cannot solve all your problems with the right hand to the mouth. And my response was, yes, I can. Hey, you're not young. You're young. You pluck people. They get on your nerve. Come on, man. Stop, man. Didn't I say stop? So when he wake up, he'll realize he should have stopped. All right, that was the old me. I'm older than that. I mean, the old me. The new me, we serve Yahweh. I still believe in self-defense. Don't get me wrong. I'm following the book. But now, men like Trump, people like them, you talk around them, you got to keep your hands to yourself. Come on, now ain't the time now. Don't lose your cool. Some of the stuff they do, people benefit and people don't. The man told Congress, why the hell would you take the funding from the people that need it the most when you know they need the extra money? So he passed an executive order. They won't get 600 in the benefit, but they will get, I think it's 4. So now technically, black folk gonna benefit from something like that. Little stuff. They steady arguing with them, take that little benefit, run on down the road with it, whatever it is you got. You're getting it all because of Yahweh. Anyway, it ain't because of the goodness of this white man. It's because Yahweh allows that. But when it's time to back away and get up off of this man's system, we're not understanding. I want you to hear what the man says. They want the ability to move money anywhere at any given time. You don't cooperate with this system, they turn your chip off. You can't buy, you can't sell, you can't eat. They want that kind of authority. We have to understand this. I'm going to show you something that's taking place. First time I ever heard this, I was at a community meeting. Me and a little gay white man was getting ready to get into it. Yeah, I meant that. There's a certain way I just don't let people talk to me any kind of way. You know, man, tell me something, you're homophobic, you're this, that, and the other. I said, no, let's be clear. You may be homosexual, but I'm certainly not afraid of you. Let's get our definition straight. And I explained the definition to him. Homo, you say, means man. Phobia means fear of man. So I told the white boy, I am a man, and I have no fear of being a man. You, on the other hand, are a man and want to date a man. Sounds like you have the fear of being a man. And he stood there and thought about it. And he says, well, no one's ever really talked to me like that. I said, yeah, when you stick around me, I ain't all I do. Then he realized, I don't like him. So, we had a little fallout. But think about that. Don't let nobody tell you you are homophobic because you preach what scripture says. That don't even match your definition of the word. If homo means man and phobia means fear, you are gay. You have a fear of being a man and you want to be a woman. Get the hell out of my face. End of the argument. Ain't homophobic. Really? I ain't got no choice. Yahweh said, let us. He said to him, let us make man in our image. And Yahshua wasn't standing around in no damn dress. It wasn't effeminate. Let's get it straight. People stand. See, that's what made me so angry with the poor little black man. He sitting around trying to take everything off everybody, trying to love everybody. No, some of these people need to be whooped. Them old school parents, they ain't play with you. They tell you sit down, do this, do that. You kept on cutting. They put the big hand on you. Some of these people ruling this earth today, they need the big hand. They need an occasional big hand put on them. And then they stop. You hear me? He's violent. No, I ain't violent. Violent are those you that violate Yahweh's law. Don't steal, don't rob, don't murder, don't kill. All those things. You break that, you are violent because you have violated this. We need to get our definition straight. So now, the computer system wants access to all the money in the earth because you might have to shift all the resources everywhere at any given time and shut everybody down. So I first heard this little expression from this little gay white man. He was talking about how they need to just give everybody free money, a monthly stipend, no matter what you do. Pay everybody. And it'll be so small that it'll never hurt the national and international budgets because it's mere pennies in comparison to what you're pulling in when you're extracting everybody's labor. Everybody's labor is accounted for in the global economy. And in exchange for their labor, they're gathering up pennies or free pennies. Those that ain't got no job, cool. We give you a little less than those that do have a job. And we tax them so much so, and we control their food, we control their electricity, we control their water, so that everybody really just getting a little something for their pennies. So what do? Free money. When government spending knows no limits. You understand what they're doing? Free money. So everybody thinking they getting something, the stimulus checks and all other stuff. Eventually you'll be taxed to death on that. They'll take that back from you. But this guaranteed basic income is a trick and a trap to just get you signed up, to get you all drawn into it, and so that everybody getting a little something. Look, you're spending, it's all just paper anyway. You know, you don't think it's worth anything or it's worthless? Go to the store with one of them old $100 bills. You know the one with the little face? Not the blue one, the gray one, or green, whatever color it was. The old, go spend it, see if they don't look at you funny. Sister giggling, you must have went through that. You ain't went through it yet? All right. Anyway, might as well tell my story now, right? Clear it up. I had an old $100 bill. You know how sometimes you hide money from yourself? Anyway, I changed wallets, got myself a little new, thinner wallet, so it's less stuff for me to carry. So one day I'm digging around in the drawer. I'm like, wow, I thought I threw this thing away. So I go through it and I look, oh, $100 bill I hidden there for myself. So, oh, this is awesome. Opened it up, I looked at, this is old. So immediately I'm thinking, all right, first thing I got to do is bust this down. Because it's old, they probably ain't even gonna think it's real. It ain't even had a metal strip in it. So I go to the store and get in line and I buy my little stuff. And the lady, look at it. First thing she do, hold it up to the light. I said, sister, that thing probably older than you. There is no strip in it. I just need to check and see if it's real. She hit it with the marker thing, what have you, and it didn't do what they wanted it to do because, again, it was older than them inventing the marker strips. So she calls the manager over. The manager looks at it, and the manager looks at me, and looks at it, looks at me, looked at it again. And when she looked up the third time, y'all know I always got a response to people. So she looked up at me the third time. I said, it ain't changed. Just messing with her. She went on and changed it. She says, wow, haven't seen one of these in years. You must be a drug dealer. Old money. See, they couldn't launder all the money. They just had to bury it somewhere. And then they go dig it up and spend. See what I'm saying? So it was systems. You must be a drug dealer. I ain't even Miss Bond. You know, I'm like, you got to be careful how you get off on each other in front of other people. But all that over old money. It had no strip in it. Can you imagine trying to go spend money when now everybody going to a chip? Well, right now they got you swiping. Right now you are in the heightened alert stage. You're getting to the threshold of the having to back away stage. Yahweh will make provisions for Israel. As specific things are revealed, as time moves on, it ain't going to be as bad as everybody think it is for those that are in Yahweh. Sometimes in the midst of hard times, you really ain't doing so bad. You hear what I'm saying? I had an uncle, my oldest living uncle, my old boy. He lived to be 100 years old. They were little boys in 1929 when the stock market crashed. But in talking with him one day, I said, Uncle, what was life like for y'all down there on the farm when the stock exchange went down and the market crashed and all that? And he said, well, David, I'm going to tell you right now, for us, we didn't go through the hard times that everybody else went through. So we had the farm, we had our own land, you know, we grew food, we had everything that we needed right there, our little clothes, what have you. So it wasn't as rough and tough for us as it was for those that had a lot because they had something to lose. We were self-sufficient. And then I started reflecting back on some of them stories that my father and my grandmother used to tell us. They ate my grandmother's watermelon. They had the stuff growing in the watermelon patch. And one of the last watermelons, or the big one, whatever it was, my father and his younger brother, he told him, go get the watermelon. You drag it over here halfway, and you get it here. I'll drag it the rest of the way. So when they got there to the barn or wherever it was, they stepped in the mud. So my grandmother came, they didn't all ate the watermelon and what have you. She told all of them, come in, lined the little boys up, said, here, put your foot in this track. Whoever's foot fit the track, she knew had drugged the watermelon. So now, to keep from getting in trouble completely, you do what's smooth. You get the baby. You start it off, and I'll finish it. Everybody needs a good accomplice. You understand? So as my uncle was telling me the stories and reminding me of that, I got to thinking about Yahweh's word. This is why Yisrael must be sealed in Yahweh. Because as this stuff goes down, and as bad as some of it may be, keep in mind, Yahweh loves Israel, and he ain't going to let everything destroy all of his people. Make sense? This is why you have to bring stuff like this up, so that we are better prepared to deal with it when it comes, because knowledge of a thing lessens the tension of it when it comes. Right or wrong? Make sense? You got knowledge of, come on, we would leave, Baltimore has this bridge, Monroe Street and Lawrence Street had this little bridge. You could go down that street in a car at 35 miles per hour. When you hit that bridge, I don't like roller coasters and stuff like that. I've always been there all my life. But I had to be paying attention in order to handle the ride. But when we would go to that Monroe Street bridge, get right there in Lawrence Street, it would feel like I'm at a roller coaster where you dropping me in my bottom, my stomach is coming. You know the feeling of a roller coaster, right? If you know the bridge is coming, you can kind of brace yourself. It's just up, and then it's a quick dip. That's life. Yahweh told Israel all these things that are coming to pass in the earth and how we must prepare ourselves. Along the way, you're going to have some bumps and some bruises. What kind of bumps? Well, bumps. Sometimes your children might not walk with you. They might not believe. That's a bump in the road. Well, sometimes your wife might not roll with you. Sometimes your husband might not agree with it. Sometimes family might not believe. Sometimes the employer might not want to give you this particular day off that you need. Sometimes the bills might be late. All those little things are just unexpected bumps and bruises along the way. But everything that goes up must come down. Everything that goes in must come out. So Yahweh being with Israel through it all, as horrendous as this stuff is, it is to show Israel the terrible dynamic of what it's going to cost to reject Yahweh. The whole outcome. You ever think about this? You get your grass. How many got a lawn? You ever get your grass cut? When the grass get cut, think about it. You're killing the grass. You're cutting half of it down, right? It's getting cut down just that it might still beautify the land. So even the grass takes the cut, but it keeps right on growing, right? So from time to time, we're going to take them little cuts, just like the grass. You take that little loss of a job. Yahweh bless you. You right back over there. He bring you out of some. Sometimes the scenarios in life Yahweh take you through come right at you so hardcore. But the reality is, I'm going to take you through this little hardcore thing over here because I'm going to bless you with something better over here. And time you get through it, you look back and realize the tribulation wasn't even so bad after all. It was the false evidence of it as it appeared real. You hear what I'm saying? The same thing with white people ruling the world right now. They got everybody in fear because I'm a bad white man. I'll fight even the Almighty. No, you're going to piss the Almighty off to a point and a degree when he literally rips that sky and that whole ozone layer open and shows the whole world, I am. Ain't nothing y'all can do to stop him. It's not good to have an angry elf. You hear what I'm saying? It's not good. Come on, man. Y'all sure got to rule from sea to sea. These people are foolish. You don't think they foolish? Let's go to Psalms 2. Let me show you how foolish they are. See, Israel need to read this one, man. You got to read this one. Lay down on it, man. Get up on it. Psalms chapter 2. This is beautiful, man. Why do the heathens rage? And the people imagine the vain thing. The vain thing, they're going to rule forever. They're going to set their king up, worship the devil, and y'all are going to sit back and let them win. That's a vain thing. The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together. They get together in their little annual meeting, Bilderberger group, all that other stuff, Council de l'Epoire, the Paris Club, all these different groups. They take counsel on how they're going to continue to rule. So it says they take counsel together against Yahweh, him, and against his anointed, him, and against his anointed, the nation, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cut away their cords from us. See how they do? Break up your unity. And then what Daniel said, this thing will come, break up the power of the Kodesh people, break up the ability to even be unified in prayer. Come on, man. He that sitteth in the heavens shall pass. I like that part. Can you imagine that? You think you building your little space force, all this other stuff. Oh, we're going to protect the space. We're going to protect this earth from the one who made it. Then you know you got to be silly and out of your mind. You really sitting down somewhere having a meeting. bunch of men with all kind of stuff on their jackets or whatever. Me and you can go to Home Depot and buy that same stuff and put it on a jacket and walk somewhere and look like we 4-star generals. And as long as you don't get caught slouching and doing something stupid, I'm going to tell you something. You can get away with it. There are places that I've had to go and go do research. I just need to get into their library. And I went in looking just like a Marine. Man, saw one walk by. Hoorah! He stopped. He did that. I went on in. True story. Anyway. Hey, man, I'm telling you what I know. I was in the store before. Had on a little Marine Corps hat. Little woman ringing up and says, put the military discount in there. They do it to you and I. How do they do it? I'll tell you how they do it. You don't be paying attention. They do this. Think about that. You know, little people with a little saucer on their head, little teacup, running around saying they chosen. But y'all get it now. See, what's the difference? You just put a little saucer on your head. Even your COVID made masks for the children. Sister Karen sent us some masks the other day. You make masks, different things. You make a little thing, put a little thing on your head, stand right there like you chosen people. Just don't give yourself away. They doing it all the time. Anyway, you ain't going to fool Yahweh. Says, he that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. Yahweh shall have them in derision. He ain't playing with them. He will deride them till there's nothing left of them. Then shall he speak to them in his wrath and vex them in his sore displeasure. Yet have I set my king upon my Kodesh mountain, my holy hill of Zion. Yahshua right there. He said, I've set him there. He ain't even there yet. Yahweh already said it. It is done. I will declare the decree. Ain't that what y'all sang this morning? I will declare the name. I'll stop and let y'all do it. Anyway, he said, I will declare the decree. Yahweh have said unto me, you are my son. This day have I begotten thee. Ask of me, and I'll give you the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. Oh, now, you heathens. Let me stop and get your attention real quick, you heathens. You think you're going to rule his earth forever? You belong to him. He says, ask of me. And he certainly did ask. Did he not ask Abba Yahweh, make us one? As he and they are one, then make us one. I and them and me, I and you. Y'all going to obey him. You can get mad all you want. Talking about Jesus. Jesus ain't got no power. Jesus can't even catch a basketball. I'm telling you the honest to goodness truth. Now ask me how I found that one out. I was young playing basketball at my grandmother's house in the living room. Dribbling the ball, take it through my leg, juggling, bring it back through it. Finger roll. And all them families coming up in the 70s had them pictures. Martin King, John Kennedy, and Jesus. Jesus caught that, we call it Spalding, caught it straight to the face. Came down off the wall, went behind the sofa. My cousin William said, oh! I didn't know that was a Hebrew word. He said, oh! Oh! Yahshua is the light of the world. And I knocked Jesus down. True story. My grandmother knocked me down. She wasn't gonna play, man. But woman, she's mean, man. She didn't play, man, about that Jesus stuff, man. She didn't play that. But neither did my father. My father would drop us off with my mother, would go down there, he going back home. Do whatever it was he do. My mother called me, come on down, pick us up. I look outside, see the car pulling up. My mother said, go on out there and get in the car with your father. I go out there and get in the car, open the door and ease in. My father said, what you done now? I'm in Holland, me and William, we was playing with the basketball, and the basketball hit Jesus in the face and knocked the pitcher down on the floor. And my father said, oh, Turn back around. You know them little cars, then them LTD, they were big as the Titanic, big old car. So I was in the back seat. The car got bigger. I thought I was gonna get it, man, but he didn't bother me. Now I realized from that day forward, man, that was a good thing. Yeah. Say where I go, I see pictures of Jesus. You need some help with that? I don't have a problem. Knock that crap down. That's the law too. People don't know. He told Israel, don't. You break down them altars. You break that crap down. Israel get ready and try to respect people and look up to that. Ain't looking up to that. See, what people forget is that as the messengers of Yahweh in this little small sphere of influence that we in right now, this little congregation building ain't that big. It ain't that much to us. But one of the things that we don't wish to do is you don't want to preach messages that are just seriously wrong or so misleading that people take hold of that and get knocked way out in left field somewhere. You want to teach the exclusivity of Yahweh's word, which is exactly why you have to be praying to be led by the Ruach HaKodesh. You have to be. You don't want to be functioning out here in the flesh, just thinking everything you read, everything you study is all that there is to it, and that's all, ain't no more to it. No. I was in a store years ago here in Baltimore, a bookstore, Brother Nati, one of the most famous stores in this city, bookstore. Brother was running his mouth talking about the Bible and all this stuff, blah, 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 blah. And Baba Nati knew I'm a Hebrew. He's standing there, so he's talking to the brother. He asked the brother, he said, well, you know, in his African accent, Baba Nati says, let me ask you, brother, because that's all that you know about that subject, does that mean that's all that there is to it? And that stumped the brother. Because what Brother Nati was really trying to do was set it up so that I could explain a little more to the brother. But his question shut the man down in such a way where I guess he got to think, yeah, well, that's the only side about the story that I know. And that's how most people are. They function off of only what they know. See, we as Hebrews, we have to know Yahweh's word. But we also have to know a lot about a lot of things. Because, see, a lot of the lies and things that people in the world believe are the falsehoods of these gods and these different nations, force them with Israel and mix them with the truth to a point and a degree where you sit down and here's a brother that say he's a Hebrew Muslim. And you say, well, what the hell is that? And he believe he right. He can eat pork. He keep Ramadan and Sukkot. Yeah, you let them tell it. We just so mixed up now as a people. And their argument will be, well, they all Abraham's seed. I'm like, come on, man. Sly and Family Stone told us better than that. You ever heard Family Affair? You hear what he said in the opening line? One child grows up to be somebody who just loves to learn. But then there's that bad one. He said the other child grows up to be somebody you just love to burn. Now, I know what y'all can go listen to the lyrics. They can say, man, he said that. He got away with that. Yeah, sometimes people tell him so bad, he just want to shoot him straight out the gate. Bow! Save his mother some trouble. So you can't say because they were all Abraham's seed that they all Israel. No. He told Abraham, I will make you a father of many nations. So you start tracing his seed and all them different children that come up out of him. Yahweh didn't choose all them. He chose Israel. He said, in Isaac shall thy seed be called. Through Isaac, here come Jacob and Yisah. Yisah was profane. Yahweh said, all right, you may be the firstborn, but you really ain't what I'm looking for. You understand? That's where we are today. The whole world is mad. This thing ain't just on white people. This is on all the nations of the earth. They are all angry with you as Israel. And you really want to find out how mad the nations are with you? As a person right now, stand up and say you the real children of Israel around anybody. See if it don't make everybody mad. What y'all mad about? See, if it's a lie, if it's a myth, if there's no truth to it, you shouldn't even be mad, right? You ain't going to catch me out at no mall fighting the Easter Bunny, beating on him because he got a suit on talking about he the Easter Bunny. I can keep right on strolling. I ain't paying him no mind. You ain't gonna catch me guffing with Santa Claus. Him and Satan the one and the same. I ain't arguing with him. I keep right on moving. Right? So now we say we the children of Israel. Everybody get mad also. someone. These people over there stealing the land, blowing up everybody, promoting homosexuality, pornographic industry, robbing and stealing. Everything you can do that the scriptures say, don't do that. That's the very stuff them people promote. And gonna still be the chosen people too. Look, man, after just that analysis, I'm tired. You hear what I'm saying? How y'all gonna promote all that? Get me come out, I would say it now. Faggotism and everything else going on all over there. They promote all of that, brother. Heard, yeah, you hear me? Truth is like upchuck. If it's coming out, guess where it's going? It's coming out. So you gotta call it truth. I'm not trying to clean it up and fancify it for them. That's what Black Lives Matter is supposed to do. They supposed to soapify it. You know, you put some hand sanitizer on it and clean it up a little. That don't even clean your hands. Y'all do know that, right? You know, come on. I was working the other day. I had a little cement on my hands, so I had hand sanitizer. So now my hands was moist. They dried up, kind of dry like they are now. It dried up and looked clean. Okay, go in the house. There's a specific bathroom in the house, belongs exclusively to somebody. And you don't go in there any kind of way and mess it up. You better make it neat like it was when you went in, right? So go in, wash my hands. But I noticed the water getting blacker and blacker and little splashes on. So where's this dirt coming from? Like, it's coming from you. So the hand sanitizer, people have, unless you take a bath in this stuff, it just masks whatever is there. Am I lying? We can take the test now. I got it right back there. It's all of it. It just masks the stuff that they, no, wash your hands. Now you got to tell people in the world, all over the world, wash their hands. When they were the only people that wouldn't wash their hands anyway. I'm not hiding up. They go in the bathroom, do they do, come right on back up. Hey, hi, how you doing? How you doing? All is well. All is well. Right or wrong? Y'all know it. Now you got to tell them, wash your hand. And then they run around telling everybody, wash your hand. Well, our parents taught us that as children. Wash your hands. Cover your mouth. Everybody had to teach me like this. Our parents taught us, cover your mouth. You cover your mouth as children, or your parents will cover your mouth. And you might not necessarily like the way they cover it. But it will remind you to cover it. You see what I'm saying? So now the nations of the earth, with all that they got going on, Daniel says something. Let me grab this real quick. 7:21. Daniel said something that went down, man. It just disturbed the poor brother, man. I can relate to him. First of all, before I go 21, go back to Daniel 7:15. I want you to hear this. He says, I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit, in the midst of my body, and the visions of my head troubled me. What did the man see that it troubled him so bad that it shook him up like that? These people today, they use teamwork. They work for the development of their whole system, for an analysis that is for their complete benefit. We lose sight of it because we just think Yahweh going to automatically pick us up because we say that we name the name of Yahweh. We got to go by the rules. We must keep the Torah and the rules of Yahweh. That's why different messages hit on different things. It teaches on so much. You got the totality of the Torah. You can't just lay in one book and teach one thing all the time. After a while, people master, they have to be brought up in the word of Yahweh. Then you got to deal with the history of the nation. Then you got to deal with the prophecy. You got to put all this stuff together so that Yahweh's people will know. Our feast days, for example, are falling right now in the time frame and in the height of the heathens and their system and the system of way they got things structured. And in the midst of this so-called COVID-19 and all other stuff that's going on, you don't really want to be running around with them in the midst of the stupid stuff that they got going on. Are you hearing what I'm saying? I'm going to show you some scriptures later on today, some things you might want to look at as the feast days of Yah begin to approach. We'll make sure we put the dates out there for those of you that don't have the dates or don't know what it is. We are scattered. In your prayers, remind yourselves to ask Abba Yahweh to have mercy upon us all, to cleanse us, to be with us, to protect us. Because right now, with this COVID thing and the way they have shut this world down with whatever it is that they've done, there's a portion in this material, I might get to it in my next message, But there is a portion in the material where they talk about how artificial intelligence could gather up so much data, do so much stuff, that as it gives the command to have different things made, you think in the military command coming down from a high-ranking general, and the general don't know where the order came from, then this comes from somebody over there, and then this ties into that there. You done made some spray or something aerosol before long because it's got all the world's data and information. You done made something so sophisticated where you can poison any and everything in the world at will. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Pre-COVID-19. So,
Well, maybe looking at it, they say they're going to come out with another window. It's worse than COVID-19. They're going to put something on parallel.
see, I don't doubt it. Yeah, he did say that. I don't doubt it. Because, see, a lot of what's going on with us as a people, sometimes we walk right past this stuff, man. Look at this. Some of the stuff for the naysayers, they go now, this old. So let's see if they go find this. This is 2017. The world in 2017. Every year, Wired Magazine does this. The world in 2019. The world in 2020. Is that not? But I pulled this 2017 because in 2017, all they were focused on was everything electronic, everything artificial intelligence, everything you could think of. But I marked this one little page. Smarter soldiers will enter the battlefield. I want y'all to hear this now because you got to look at the people that murdered George Floyd a lot differently now. See, it takes a lot to just do a cold, calculated killing like that, and it don't bother your mind whatsoever. Anyway, this article here on page, page 33. What an irony. In 2017, the United States Department of Defense will launch the Tactical Assault Light Operator Suit, TALOS, a futuristic piece of military hardware that encloses soldiers within a bullet-bouncing, internally cooled, computerized exoskeleton. Sound like RoboCop, right? So now in 2017, this was the material they released. Inside the suit, the soldiers will be shielded from almost every threat. The U.S. military keenly invests in pieces of armor, such as the $80 million TALOS, that could feasibly make their way to the battlefield. But research is also steering the military towards another goal: the technologies that augment. Instead of building shells around ourselves, we're also creating wearables that tune into the human body. In 2017, this research will begin to shape the future soldier. And one driving force is the rise of soft robotics. At Harvard University's Weiss Institute, pioneers are working with the U.S. Defense Advanced Research Project, DARPA, to design a malleable fabric exosuit. This was the fabric, the exosuit, that mirror imaged everything that there was. You ever been in a house or somewhere and you felt like somebody was there or somebody was in there or something happened? Well, they have this suit with thousands of micro miniature mirrors on it. It films everything that's in front of the soldier or everything that's in back of the soldier. So now the soldier's in here, but you just stuck your key in the door. He's signifying or prying and he's doing something. So now he pulls his face shield over his face and he stands here. Suddenly, the mirror image of everything that is here reflects on this. So as long as he stands still, now you don't see him because it's showing everything that's behind me. And it's showing it on him. All he has to do is stand still. This is the type of stuff that's happening in the world. Okay? Now, Hollywood done played with stuff like this. And as I said before, I'll say again, if they played with it, it's because they, working in conjunction with the U.S. Department of Defense and the whole military apparatus, gave them a sneak peek into it so then they can throw it in the movie, even if they ain't doing nothing but playing with something like the Invisible Man. Are you hearing me? So now, if the scripture is telling us about something that has power to give life unto the image of the beast, and Daniel said, whatever it was, it had eyes like a man. Remember, he didn't say it was a man. He said eyes like a man. It's time that the messengers of Yahweh start making these things plain. Start praying for some understanding. Start looking into this, because what the scripture is telling us about, particularly in Revelation, all throughout Revelation, in the language that Yahanan could speak, is carefully encoded. Microchip technology, robotics, computerization, and all of this artificial intelligence. This is the stuff you are now reading. You must understand, back when they were writing this, they couldn't say there's a day coming when man going to invent something called the robot. He said it was a beast. He said the thing rose up from the sea. They pulled the vast majority of it out of the sands of the earth, which ironically they call their lead place Silicon Valley. You hearing me? You take enough sand and heat it up, sand gets real meltified and it turns into glass and things of that nature. So unless we understand really what's going on, you won't understand the symbolism and the symmetry behind movies with stuff like Terminator, where he keeps melting and transfiguring and turning into stuff. I'm saying to you all, the technology that they have and the stuff that they do is just so horrendous. It's just off the chain now. Some of this stuff, our detractors, they need to see it because they need to be able to shut up and go spend $1 or two. Life 3.0. 3.0. Being human in the age of artificial intelligence. And if you look at the book real close, what it is a bunch of O's and ones with your technology. You're becoming all of this computer. You're becoming one with the computer. They had, let's read the quote. I mentioned the money and the jobs earlier. Listen to this. So who's right? Those who say automated jobs will be replaced by better ones, or those who say most humans will end up being unemployable? Well, if artificial intelligence progress continues unabated, then both sides might be right. One in the shorter term, the other in the long term. But although people often discuss the disappearance of jobs with doom and gloom connotations, it doesn't have to be a bad thing. Luddites, obsessed about particular jobs, neglecting the possibility that other jobs might provide the same social value. Luddites. What is a Luddite? It's like a branch of philosophy, like you are a Marxist because you follow the ideology of Karl Marx or what have you. The Luddites started in Israel. Just want y'all to hear that part, because I'm just throwing it out like they throwing it. See, sometimes they throw stuff in your face and just in passing reference, they keep on moving. Unless you know what it is, you miss the key point. Anyway, analogously, perhaps those who obsess about jobs today are being too narrow-minded. We want jobs because they can provide us with income and purpose. But given the opulence of resources produced by machines, it should be possible to find alternative ways of providing both the income and purpose without a job. Jobs magazine ran an article in 1995. I clipped it. I still have it in my file, called The Jobless Future. And he was talking about in the future that there will be a way in which you give people free money and have them stay home and do nothing, because everybody has a basic right to communicate and or produce in society, provided they can carry their own weight on whatever little level it is, a basic substantial income. Now, ironically, you just came through the test case of it. You knocked everybody off and gave everybody a pinch of money here and there, and nobody really missed a beat. I'm reading an article the other day, an article that ain't got nothing to do with nothing, unless you're stupid like me and you say, that was serious. One organization out of all businesses in America said they suffered drastically during the COVID-19 shutdown. What business would you think it'd be? Booming. Pawn shops. Pawn shops. And they got a group. Remember that show Pawn Wars or whatever it is? That man got about 2,700 pawn shops nationwide. So they use him as the national indicator. What they said was the government stimulus money and that extra $600 a month messed up their business, because in hard times like that, people tend to want to pawn things. But because you gave them that extra $1,200 and then put $600 in on unemployment, they were able to pay and sustain bills. Nobody was pawning guns and knives, and nobody was doing all sorts of stuff. So you impacted us. And after they went to Congress and complained about it, all of a sudden, the $600 stopped. Pawn shops. See how stuff link in that ain't got nothing to do with nothing? But if you powerful and you in the industry, you got a mouth and some money, you now have a voice. If you powerless and ain't got no money, you ain't got no voice, unless your voice is the voice of Yahweh. Am I making sense, Israel? See, I sit down and study stuff like this while the brothers are fighting and boxing with me, whereas we really need to be networking, putting the information to Yahweh's people. I ain't talking to the whole world. I noticed the subscribers numbers and all that stuff go up. I can't get excited about it because all the people ain't sitting here in front of me. They ain't with me. They ain't paying no bill. They make a donation to further the word of Yahweh, an offering. That's what it means. I offer to help you send the word further. And that's all you can do with it. Just what he commands. Did he not say, bring an offering in my house that there may be meat in my store? That's why even when we eat here, send that away to Yahweh's people. Because you don't know who needs what. That ain't that you poor, you poor, you poor. They all had all things in common. Yahweh had it structured so they covered one another. People even helped me with research. People donate to buy books and different things. Had a sister send me a check. She said, El Johnson, I just want to be able to buy the next book. Whatever it is that you get, spend this on the next book. I just want to help. Brother, I love the way you read and break these things down for us.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. So what could you do other than take her money? And when you go to buy something, get it. I have so much research and material and different things stacked away in my office sometimes now. I be trying to move stuff out, give stuff to people just so others can look at it and see what I got. You might even get it and get some more out of it than what I got out of it. But they telling us, let's do this real quick before the sister call me. Page 126. You all got to hear this. No, that was 126. 136 is where I need to go. You got to hear this. Now, suppose that the CEO controlling Omegas had long-term goals similar to those of Adolf Hitler or Joseph Stalin. For we all know this might actually have been the case and simply kept these goals to himself until he had sufficient power to implement them. Even if the CEO's original goals were noble, Lord Acton cautioned in 1873 that power tends to corrupt and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Lord Acton. It's interesting that they would mention him. Illuminati / World Institute of International Affairs. Yeah, okay. Ain't nothing to it, right? Anyway. For example, he could easily use Prometheus to create a surveillance state, whereas the government snooping revealed by Edward Snowden aspired to what's known as full tape, recording all electronic communications for possible later analysis. Prometheus could enhance this to understanding all electronic communication by reading all your emails, text ever sent, listening to all phone calls, watching all surveillance videos and traffic cameras, analyzing all credit card transactions, and studying all online behavior. Prometheus would have remarkable insight to what the people of Earth were thinking and doing. Sound like what you living under. By analyzing cell tower data, it could know where most of them were at all times. All this assumes only today's data collection technology, but Prometheus could easily invent popular gadgets and wearable technology that would virtually eliminate the privacy of the user. Eliminate the privacy of the user. Levi's Commuter X jacket by Google. Levi's and Google hooked up to make a jacket. And the jacket got the device right on the sleeve, like this watch. I like this watch, but I hate this watch. Because I popped into the watch the other day and I saw some stuff in there that the watch does. Sleep with the watch on. It tells you when you were at your most relaxed state. Tells you when you was rolling over. Tell you your heart rate. Tell you all this other stuff. The steps you get. And I was looking at it. I was like, see, this type of stuff. This type of stuff you throw on the roof. You know it was a gift. But not that I'm unappreciative. But see, some technology scare you. You hear what I'm saying? See, some technology should scare you. I always be threatening to throw my phone on you. The phone be ringing and jumping some day. So I was like, man, one day I'm going to pitch it. And that is the honest truth. I'm telling you all, one day I'm going to pitch it. But anyway, there's the jacket with the device. Levi's has worked with Google to produce its first piece of connected clothing. Its Sports Google ATAP project. With a touch of the sleeve, cyclists can wirelessly access their smartphone and all the apps to adjust their volume, mute a call, or get an ETA on their destination. Despite the tech being woven into the jacket, you can still wash it. See, and as we all say, wow, that shows us how little we really know of what they're doing in the world. No offense to any of us, right? Because I didn't know it either. Now remember, this is 2017. I pulled it back out and I'm like, how did I miss that? And I got the one for 2020. I'm like, now I really got to read it now and go back and put them together. Because it's certain magazines, when they do their year-end stuff, I always get them because I'm trying to pay attention to certain stuff. And as the trends go and as the power structure goes, you'll start to see that. Let's go further with this. With superhuman technology, the step from perfect surveillance state to the perfect police state will be a minute. For example, with the excuse of fighting crime and terrorism and rescuing people suffering medical emergencies, everybody could be required to wear a security bracelet. That combined the functionality of an Apple Watch with continuous uploading of position, health status, conversations overheard. Unauthorized attempts to remove or disable it could cause it to inject a lethal toxin in the forearm. Infractions deemed as less serious by the government could be punished by way of electronic shocks or injections of chemicals causing, what did you just say? Paralysis or pain. Come on, Yisrael. All somebody got to do is study this book. Sit down and ask Yahweh, please open my eyes to that which I do not see. You understand now why I came out that office last night? I was looking at all this stuff, man, and I had to take a break from it. Minister was up here laboring. I'm standing back there in the middle of the floor looking stupid. I heard his message. He teaching. I walked up on Deacon. I looked like I was going crazy. He never said nothing. He just looked at me. I said, just can't get some air. I opened the door for a split second, stuck my head out. Came on back in, went back in there, sat down and started reading. And just think, y'all, I haven't really gone into the gist of two particular books just yet. Because in these two books, the white folks that wrote them are confessing the same thing. They're saying basically, hey man, I was a top shelf world scientist, funded, all my research was funded by DARPA, which is the Defense Advanced Research Project. Government put all this money behind us. We perfected this stuff. We taught this stuff to do things. This stuff is manufactured. That's how you can have whole factories now with nobody working in them because the robots are working. And they got robots making the robot. So then the technology begins to grow exponentially. It sounds impossible, but it is not. And this was what sickened the prophets because they realized we as a poor little people, all we had to do was obey Yahweh. The devil don't have as much power as we think he got. If he got to invent technology to do this, whereas all y'all got to do is replace everything with the Ruach, and you're going to walk in line because it is ultimately the mind of Yahweh Yahshua. Come on, man. This is a sad time we living in. Sad time. Whereas a human police force may refuse to carry out certain draconian directives, for example, killing all the members of a certain demographic group, such an automated system would have no qualms about implementing the whims of the human in charge. Once such a totalitarian state forms, it would be virtually impossible for people to overthrow it. You need Yahshua. Come on, man. We don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear none of that, right? Daniel says here, and I beheld the same horn made war with the Caduceans and prevailed against them. Now is not the time for Yahweh's people to be playing. If the devil going to fight you and win, he's going to prevail against you periodically, okay? This is Daniel 7:21. He says, I beheld until the same horn prevailed, made war against the saints and prevailed against them. How long is this prevailing going to last? Look, until the Ancient of Days came. Yahshua is the Ancient of Days because he is the man that was there from the beginning. Proverbs 8:22 further says, Yahweh possessed me from the beginning of his way. Wherever the earth was formed, I was there. Your family member, right there. Until the Ancient of Days came, and the judgment was given to the Caduceans of the Most High. And the time came that the Caducean possessed the kingdom. Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon the earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces. Who did that? Who tore up the whole earth? The world, the Amazon, the rainforest, different things. There are some beautiful, some immaculate places in this earth. Now, inside of the last 500 years, from the coming of Columbus to present day, one group of people have marched throughout the face of this entire earth, and it has been their sole mission and purpose to destroy everything while pretending they're making everything better for everybody. No, we have a right to call you out. And the 10 horns of this kingdom are 10 kings which shall arise, and another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first. And he shall subdue 3 kings. He shall speak, listen, great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the kedushin of the Most High, and think to change times and laws. And they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of times. Time is 1 year. Times adds 2 more to it. And the dividing of times makes it 3 1/2 years. That's going to be the worst time in the history of all the world. That final 7 years with that final 3 1/2 year. Whatever this thing is, it's going to have its power fully unleashed on the face of this earth. Humans, robotics, demons, all merged together into one. Come on, Yisrael. Who are we going to pray to? I said I was going to sit down and just go over all this with you all. I wasn't letting to sit down. I couldn't sit down. I had to stand here and talk to you and demonstrate it face to face. I humbly implore all the Israelites, wherever we are around the world, all the people that come to the knowledge of Yahweh's name, listen, y'all, stop resisting and fighting Yahweh's word. Take this world for what it is. Whoever and whatever it is that's leading this world, they ain't no friends to us. They ain't nobody we really even want to have no parts with. These people are intent on just controlling the whole earth. And their real goal is that if we can't rule it forever, we'll destroy it for everybody else. That's why Yahshua has to come. Ain't nobody like that, no friend to you. Ain't nobody like that, nobody that needs your vote. All these people know what's going on now, man. We out here. I ain't just going to say it like that and leave it alone. I'm going to say it again. Humans, computers, and demons all coming together as one. That's a volatile mix. And the only way out, you got to have his seal. Ain't no other way. We got to have that seal. You got to seek it. You got to why. Y'all, I'm telling you, I read some of this political and social stuff. Sometimes some of that stuff just overwhelms me, man. I just stop, man. I didn't come out here and play this morning. I wasn't able to. I went over this one last time. I said, they ain't going to miss me. Probably had me out there messing up the songs anyway. So I figure you can make it without me. There's a day coming when we got this generation on this earth now. We got to teach our babies. Got to prepare them. Brothers, you got to ready yourselves. You got to prepare yourselves as men in Yahweh. Sisters, you got to set your hearts and your minds right with Yahweh. Walk with Yahweh in the privacy and the comfort of your own home. Walk with Yahweh when you're out in the street, in the world, in your daily occupations, wherever you may be. Pray that Yahweh be with you, shielded and comforted in the name of Yahshua at all times. Because what's going down inside of the next few years, it is not a game. Everybody would prefer to push it off on somebody else. But the reality is, you are that generation that's slated just prior to the coming of Yahshua. We're going to go through all this nonsense. And trust me, this ain't nothing to play with. Just keep in mind, whoever and whatever he is, he had power to give life to the image of this beast. He invented all these things. He put it all together. And he's going to step out there and show the world. And if Yahshua don't come, and as scripture says, destroy him with the breath of his lips, then ain't no other way. I like that. I know that's the truth. You know how I know it's the truth? Because that fits the pattern of Yahweh. Just as I talk about the pattern of dreams, destroying him with the breath of his lips fits the pattern of Yahweh. Hallelujah. Think about it. He spoke everything into existence. So if he created it all with his existence, and then here's something come along, will say, I'm the Almighty, I'm the one, I did it. It fits his pattern that he simply speak you out of existence. And where you go, you're going to suffer forever and ever. Hallelujah. Israel, on that note, Consider yourselves dismissed. Happy Shabbat unto you all. May the words of Almighty Yah forever rest in your hearts. Don't let nobody stray you from Almighty Yahweh. I'll pick up on part 2 of this as Yahweh grants me the ability to do so. Until then, may Yah barak your souls. Shabbat shalom, dear Yisrael. Hallelujah.